Chapter 648. Song Fuya's words shocked Lu Zhu. I've searched the surroundings, but there's no trace of Li Fan. So, I guess he should still be in the mountain god temple. Song Fuya looked at Lu Zhu and chuckled. Do you think you're very smart? You want to use yourself as bait to attract everyone's attention, then let Li Fan hide in the mountain god temple and leave when it's safe. Although I can't find him, I know he's in the mountain god temple. I can send people to burn that broken temple. Lu Zhu's brows slightly wrinkled, but it's only for a moment, then she relaxed. Up to you. Lu Zhu turned and left as if she didn't care at all. Seeing Lu Zhu leave so casually, Song Fuya couldn't help but mutter in her heart. Could it be that he really wasn't with Li Fan? Protector, should we burn it? A devil cult disciple stepped forward and asked. Burn. Song Fuya waved her hand. A group of devil cult disciples surrounded the broken temple, and at the same time, drew their bows and arrows. At the same time, these people wrapped the arrowheads in linen, dipped it in alcohol, lit it with a torch, and then began to shoot arrows at the broken temple. One by one, the fire arrows landed on the broken temple, setting it on fire. Even though there was wind and snow, the devil cult's fire seemed to have been added with something. It burned more and more vigorously, and finally, it burned fiercely, engulfing the entire broken temple. Lu Zhu had already walked far away. She suddenly turned her head, looking at the burning red broken temple, her heart slightly tightened. I've already done what I should do, the rest is up to you. The fire burned for a long time, and finally, the broken temple collapsed, turning into a pile of black charcoal. The remaining heat was still rising, intertwining with the red sparks, giving off steam. Song Fuya crossed her arms, stood there, looked for a long time and finally said, Seems like he really isn't here. Even if he is, he should have been burned to death by our devil cult's holy fire. Protector, what should we do next? Let's go back to the main hall first, and wait for the next order from the sect leader. Song Fuya left with a group of people. Not long after they left, the pile of charcoal suddenly loosened. Then, it was knocked away, and a hand wrapped in golden armor reached out. Then, a man wearing golden armor appeared. Papa, so dirty. Li Fan spat out 2 mouthfuls of dirty water, then patted the dust off his body and stood up. The golden armor on his body was disintegrating bit by bit. How can you not bring me along to the main hall? Li Fan looked at the devil cult's main force that was leaving and followed them silently. Although Li Fan's strength had not fully recovered, his qinggong was still pretty good. Treading on the snow without leaving a trace, Li Fan chased after the devil cult's troops, following their footsteps. These people had been marching rapidly. Not long after, they descended the Kunlun Mountains. Then, they divided into several groups and pretended to be employees of a certain company. They boarded different buses and drove separately. However, that was not a problem for Li Fan. He watched as Song Fuya boarded the bus and followed it, easily hiding under it. The place was indeed a little depressing, but in order to find the main hall of the devil cult, Li Fan could still bear it. Although there would be a terrifying enemy in the main hall, Li Fan somehow felt a little excited. It was every martial fighter's wish to be able to fight with an expert. Li Fan was a man with such pursuits. He followed the bus for 3 days and 3 nights. For the past 3 days and 3 nights, Li Fan did not drink or eat anything. Although eating was equivalent to replenishing energy for ordinary martial fighters, it was very important. However, for Li Fan, he could tolerate his hunger and only absorb energy from the surrounding air to temporarily replenish his nutritional needs. However, it was only temporary, and Li Fan's limit was 5 days. After 5 days, Li Fan would have to eat and drink, or his body would collapse. The energy consumption of martial fighters was far greater than that of ordinary people. That was the law of conservation of energy, which was the law of nature. 3 days later, Li Fan followed the bus and arrived in an urban area. After 3 days of driving on the highway, they had no idea which city they had arrived at. The city was rather prosperous and it was obviously not a small town. Hurry up and go in, don't dawdle. Song Fuya's voice sounded in his ears, which then slowly faded away. Li Fan gently descended from the bottom of the bus and glanced out. A disciple of the devil cult was sitting there with a cigarette in his mouth, smoking it happily. Li Fan stretched out his hands, grabbed his legs, and pulled him under the bus. He then covered his mouth and broke his neck. The devil sect disciple's neck was directly broken by Li Fan, and he died with his head turned. Li Fan did not have to be polite to the people of the devil cult. If they were to stay in this world, they would be a scourge. After getting rid of this person, Li Fan immediately took off his clothes and changed into his own body. There were so many disciples of the devil cult, and they were a motley crew. Li Fan wanted to try and see if he could mix in with them. After changing into the clothes of the devil cult, Li Fan climbed out completely. He used alien bone changing to change his appearance slightly, and then walked towards a building in front of him. Li Fan saw it clearly just now. Those people all walked into the building. This was called the Twin Towers, and he did not know which nouveau riche built it. For the devil cult to set up their base in such a place, it was really awesome. What was this called? A small hermit in the forest, a big hermit in the city. Li Fan could not help but ponder for a moment. It seemed that because of the clothes on Li Fan's body, he was able to enter the building without any obstructions. Furthermore, there was a huge signboard at the entrance, which wrote, "Celebrating Solipsism's 3rd Summit." What the hell? Solipsism is holding a summit? Isn't this organization supposed to be very mysterious? Why are they holding a summit in this place? What are you doing? Still not going in? A man who looks like a cadre berates Li Fan. What are you doing here? Li Fan calmly nodded his head at this cadre, then followed his finger and walked towards a huge venue at the back. He wanted to see what this so-called summit was all about. When Li Fan arrived at the venue, he was shocked the moment he pushed open the door. The venue was densely packed with people from the devil cult, and there were at least 3,000 to 4,000 of them. That dense mass of people caused fear to rise in people's heart. The devil cult is indeed powerful in numbers. However, these people's skills were uneven. Li Fan could feel that there were experts and rookies. Quickly sit down. The sect leader is going to hold a summit for us. A devil cult disciple berated Li Fan. Li Fan did not utter a word as he quietly sat in the corner. Chapter 649. What kind of person is Li Wei, the cult leader? Li Fan was very curious and eager to meet him. It was said that he was extremely powerful and even slightly stronger than Murong. It would be great if he could meet him today. There were so many cult disciples around him, and all of them had a burning gaze in their eyes. It was as if Li Wei was not only their cult leader, but also their god. Fervent. Li Fan saw all sorts of terrifying existences in their eyes. Soon, the fanaticism in these people's eyes blazed even more. Li Fan looked up and saw a man in a scarlet robe slowly walking onto the stage. The man was wearing a black mask that covered his face, and his robe was printed with the word Supreme. There was also a mighty golden dragon below the words, which symbolized his identity. I'm the Supreme. I'm the Supreme. I'm the Supreme. All of a sudden, everyone yelled, and their voices were like waves that were getting louder and louder. Li Fan fixed his gaze on the man, who was so mysterious that Li Fan could not figure out his background. Li Fan subconsciously wanted to stand up, but a hooded man beside him suddenly reached out and pressed Li Fan's arm. Li Fan frowned and turned around, only to see that the man's exquisite face was revealed from under the hood. He then gestured for Li Fan to keep quiet. Jiangfeng? Li Fan was shocked and thought, how can it be him? Besides, how did he recognize me? Why are you here? Li Fan asked Jiang Feng through voice transmission. My purpose is the same as yours. How did you recognize me? Even though you've changed your appearance, your aura remains the same. You're a complete newbie, Jiang Feng said sarcastically. I want to kill you and Li Wei together. Li Fan said calmly. What a coincidence, I also want to kill you and Li Wei together. Jiang Feng's voice was cold and emotionless. However, Li Fan knew that this person's indifference was just a facade. In the depths of his heart, he seemed to be suppressing some terrible emotions. But now is not the time, Jiang Feng said. When the time comes, none of you will survive. You have too many things to consider. You're the one with too little stuff in your head. The two of them were engrossed in transmitting their voices, mocking each other one after another. While they were arguing, Li Wei stood on the podium and brainwashed the people below him as if he was giving a lecture. "Those useless people, they've been stepping on our heads for too long." Li Wei raised his hands and said loudly, "It's time to change this era." The people below shouted together. They believed in Li Wei fervently, and a few simple words from Li Wei could ignite their emotions. "Now you can see for yourselves how weak those hypocritical righteous paths are," Li Wei said and clapped his hands, after which two disciples of the cult immediately pushed a cart up. There was a woman tied to the cart who seemed to be from a certain sect. The woman looked delicate and seemed to be young. Her black eyes were filled with fear, anger, and despair. As soon as she appeared, the people below immediately let out a chaotic hissing sound. "Look, everyone, this woman is from the Amei sect. By the way, her name is Lingyu." Li Wei picked up a scalpel from the podium and continued, "Her nickname is Flawless Moon. Oh look, she's really flawless if you don't count her hypocrisy. This woman joined the Whistling West Wind sect after leaving Amei sect. She has killed countless followers of the Solipsism sect. Many people are afraid of her and fear her. But today she's right in front of us. I'm going to prove to you that she's just a mortal. She will also feel fear, bleed, and die." Li Wei then waved his hand, and someone came forward to remove the tape that was covering Ling Yu's mouth. "Demon! You all deserve to die." Ling Yu yelled at them. "Oh, maybe." Li Wei looked at Ling Yu and smiled. "In your eyes, we are demons. But in our eyes, you guys are the same." He slowly walked towards Ling Yu and spun the scalpel in his hand. "Don't worry, I will slowly cut off your flesh and let you die in pain." Seeing that Li Wei was slowly walking towards her, Ling Yu couldn't help but feel even more terrified. Her legs were trembling, and she had the urge to pee. Although Ling Yu had always been very brave during battles, she still couldn't help but be afraid when death approached her. The unknown was the greatest fear. For humans, death was the greatest unknown. No one knew whether death was the end or a new journey. At this moment, Ling Yu was about to face her impending death. "Congratulations, because you can die in my hands," Li Wei said while raising his scalpel. Li Fan couldn't sit still anymore. He wanted to attack, but Jiang Feng pressed down on his shoulder. Jiang Feng's skills seemed to have increased greatly, and Li Fan actually couldn't break free. "What are you doing? It's not time yet. She's about to die. It's just a few cuts, she won't die so quickly." Jiang Feng had been expressionless, but Li Fan was already on the verge of losing his temper. At this moment, three figures suddenly jumped out of the crowd below. The three of them took off their black and red coats and revealed their white robes, each of which was printed with the emblem of riding a horse in the west wind. "Hallmasterling, we're here to save you. Li Wei die." The three of them pulled out their swords in unison, and judging from their posture, they seemed to be disciples of the Huashan sect. Ling Yu's eyes were filled with excitement when she saw them. It's you guys." The three of them were known as the three heroes of Huashan, and they were the three most powerful experts of Huashan back then. However, they later left Huashan and joined Long Fangyu. The three-talent array that the three of them performed was extremely powerful, and it greatly increased the power of their swordsmanship. The three of them surrounded Li Wei, who seemed to be a little panicked and took a step back before falling to the ground, causing his mask to fall off. Under the mask was an ordinary face that was filled with shock. Li Fan realized that this guy was just a substitute for Li Wei. "Do you understand now, idiot?" Jiang Feng mocked Li Fan again, but Li Fan didn't want to say anything. It seemed that his experience was indeed a little shallow. The three heroes of Huashan surrounded the fake leader of Solipsism, and they also discovered his identity. "He's just a substitute. Save the Hall Master first." "Yes." The three of them turned around and walked towards Ling Yu. Chapter 650. 3,000 to 4,000 Devil Sect disciples are in chaos. There are already many Devil Sect disciples charging at them, but the three heroes of Huashan do not care. Instead, they laugh loudly and throw out the sword chi in their hands. Their cultivation is too high and their sword chi is too strong. For a moment, the crisscrossing sword Qi repel and kill those devil sect disciples. The strength of the devil sect disciples is uneven and they are just a motley crew. The three heroes of Huashan are like hungry wolves that have entered a flock of sheep. For a moment, they are in high spirits and behead many people. But those devil sect disciples do not seem to care about death. It is as if death is a new journey for them. Look, look! The substitute of the sect leader is still shouting, "Who is the devil now? It is you, you hypocritical righteous dogs." Even if it is only the substitute of the sect leader, these devil sect disciples still express fanaticism towards him. From this, it can be seen how charismatic the sect leader of solipsism is. The three heroes of Huashan are happily killing and do not care about their hall master. Haha, like chopping vegetables. Just a bunch of rookies. Right. The three of them have killed countless people. For a moment, the hall is filled with rivers of blood. Ling Yu is a little anxious as she shouts, "Let go of me first." The three heroes are happily killing. Without turning their heads, they shout, "Don't worry, leave it to us. Let us kill all these scum first." Right. While the three of them are happily killing, a person suddenly jumps out from the devil sect crowd. This person is wearing a black and red robe with arrow sleeves. He is handsome and has long hair like a woman. It seems like an expert has arrived. He is destined to be a ghost under our sword. Right. The three heroes of Huashan laugh and do not put the long-hair man in their eyes. Idiot! He is Zhui Xian. Just as Ling Yu finished speaking, the long-hair man has already dodged two sword Qi and landed in front of the three heroes of Huashan. At the same time, he stretches out his hands and slaps the chests of the two heroes of Huashan. Ha, the power is only SOS. What, Zhui Xian, it is all dog shit. As soon as the three heroes of Huashan finished speaking, two of the swordsmen who were hit immediately spat out a mouthful of blood. Then, their eyes became dull, as if they had already gone to meet the King of Hell before they could figure out what was going on. As for the last swordsman from Huashan, his eyes were wide open as he looked at the scene in disbelief. The devil cult man named Zhui Xian suddenly sent another palm strike over. That Huashan swordsman quickly raised his sword to block. Clang. Zhui Xian's palm slaps the long sword before taking a step back. In less than 3 seconds, the long sword suddenly broke into 3 pieces with a clatter. The swordsmen of Mount Hua were completely dumbfounded. Unable to withstand a single blow, Zhui Xian sneered, took a step forward, and struck the swordsman's chest again. In less than 3 seconds, the Huashan disciple was lying on the ground with blood dripping from his mouth. A bunch of trash. Zhui Xian's heart destruction palm was known to be incomparably sinister. As long as it struck the enemy's heart, within 3 seconds, the enemy's heart would shatter and they would die. Zhui Xian had committed a heinous crime back then. In order to rape a beautiful young woman, he slaughtered an entire village of people, not even sparing a dog. Later on, he was chased by the Brocade clan guards and wanted by the government. Since he had nowhere to go, he came to seek refuge with solipsism. Li Wei admired his strength and took him in to work for him. In the end, he became one of the 4 heavenly kings of solipsism and was as famous as Qin Meng. 3 heroes. Ling Yu knelt there and watched the scene in a daze. The hope that had just been ignited was extinguished again. If she was going to despair again, she might as well not have had any hope in the first place. Ling Yu felt cold all over and even closed her eyes. Seems like no one is disturbing us anymore. The substitute stood up again, patted off the dust on his body, and picked up the scalpel again. He then said to Ling Yu, who was trembling slightly, "You will be accompanying the 3 of them soon. You'll be accompanying the 3 of them soon. I hope you won't be too lonely on the road to hell." As soon as he finished speaking, he walked towards Ling Yu again. Ling Yu knelt there, her body trembling uncontrollably. Although she did not say anything to appease him, fear was indeed lingering around her and pinching her heart, making it difficult for her to breathe. Seems like there's no value here anymore. Song Fuya didn't appear either. She probably left through a secret passage, Jiang Feng said. "You may leave." Li Fan stood up. Since many disciples of the cult were standing, he did not attract any attention. What are you going to do? To save her. I shouldn't have asked you. Jiang Feng seemed to be blaming himself for his foolishness. You haven't even recovered your strength. If you act rashly, you will only get yourself killed. So what? Li Fan smiled and turned his back to Jiang Feng. If I can't even do what I want to do, what's the point of living? After saying that, Li Fan leaped up and stepped on the heads of several people. He then flipped over and landed in front of Zhui Exin. Are there any more rats? When Zhui Exin saw Li Fan, he sneered, truly courting death. As he spoke, Zhui Exin leaped forward and sent a palm towards Li Fan. Heart Destruction Palm. This palm technique was indeed insidious, but to Li Fan, it was not something he couldn't block. Back then, Li Fan had even blocked the poisonous palm of the Yin Gate's great elder. Today, when he encountered the so-called Heart Destruction Palm, he had the confidence to fight. Black Bear slams on the door. Li Fan clashed with his palm as his true chi filled his palm. Bang! The two's true chi clashed against each other, and the palm wind also clashed against each other. Zhui Exin took a step back and looked at Li Fan in front of him with a shocked expression. Who are you? Li Fan didn't answer Zhui Exin at all. Now that his identity was exposed, it was extremely disadvantageous for him. He took 2 steps back and broke the rope on Ling Yu's body. But Ling Yu seemed to have taken some medicine and couldn't summon any internal strength. Stop them! Even more Devil Sect disciples blocked the entrance, preventing Li Fan and the rest from leaving. Although Li Fan's meridians were still slightly damaged, he still took out an origin returning pill and stuffed it into his mouth. An origin returning pill allowed Li Fan's true chi to rapidly recover, filling up his damaged meridians. Originally, after consuming the poison from Night Rain Building, if he were to slowly nurse himself back to health, it wouldn't cause any harm to his body. However, Li Fan was too anxious. He raised his true chi in a single breath, causing him to spurt out a mouthful of blood. If you don't retreat, you will be killed without mercy. Li Fan raised his palm and said while looking at the people in front of him. Ah, what a joke. Who do you think you are? You sure talk big. The substitute of the sect master stood by the side and laughed as he looked at Li Fan. In this pugilistic world, there is only one person who dares to speak with such a big tone. That is Little Overlord Li Fan. Do you think you are Li Fan? Chapter 651. Little Overlord Li Fan. This name is very famous in the pugilistic world. Although he is only ranked 88th on the list of famous people, he has already made a name for himself. There is no one in the pugilistic world who does not know of Little Overlord's name, and they all understand his temper. What pugilistic world rules, to Little Overlord, are all nonsense. Hearing the sect leader's sarcasm, Li Fan did not speak. His arms trembled and Great War God popped out from his back. Because it is filled with true energy, Great War God's body is also golden in color, full of true energy. Seeing this legendary move, the sect leader's substitute is stunned for a moment and subconsciously takes 2 steps back. Jexen also blinks his eyes. What the hell, isn't this Little Overlord's 7 Heroes fist? Li Fan crosses his arms and stands there, looking very confident. While the Great War God behind him has already stretched out both of his arms, condensing 2 balls of dazzling true energy. Double. Golden Toad Spitting Pearl. 2 balls of true energy form the shape of a ball and are thrown out by Li Fan's Great War God. A ball of true energy directly exploded in the middle of the crowd. Rumble. The ground trembles and the entire hall shakes. Zhui Exin and the rest are affected by the explosion and are all sent flying. While the other ball of true energy shatters the ceiling of the building. Li Fan carries Ling Yu, and with a leap, he uses his Qinggong and jumps towards the shattered ceiling. But at this moment, Zhui Exin suddenly appears above, and a palm comes pressing down on Li Fan's head. Li Fan frowns, and with 1,000 jacks, he falls from the sky and lands on the ground. Ling Yu does not have any internal energy to protect her body, and her body trembles, and her brows slightly wrinkles. Sorry. Li Fan whispers in her ear, and Ling Yu is a little surprised. This Li Fan? What kind of personality does he have? Li Fan looks at the demonic sect disciples surrounding him, and each of them look at him as if they want to skin him alive. At this moment, a familiar figure appeared at the entrance. Song Fuya chuckled as she stood there and looked at Li Fan. The aberrations have already changed back? Not bad, not bad. I can confirm your identity now. In that case, this is a trap specifically for me, right? Hugging Ling Yu, Li Fan looked at the people from the devil cult and sighed softly. Indeed. Song Fuya nodded. If we go back to the headquarters, you will find a way to follow us. Especially since you have a very bad habit of meddling in other people's business. It's rare that you know me so well. Li Fan looked at Song Fuya. Not only was he not anxious, he even smiled. He looked at the people of the devil cult in front of him and said unhurriedly, "What virtue and ability do I, Li, have to make everyone miss me so much? This is really too much for me." Little Tyrant Li Fan, the chief escort of Phenomenal Escort Agency, fiancé of the Martial World Alliance Master. Song Fuya slowly said, "Just based on these identities, it is enough for us to treat you well." As she spoke, she lightly clapped her hands. "Zhui Xen, haven't you always wanted to kill Li Fan and take his 88th rank? Today, the opportunity is in front of you. You must cherish it. Rest assured, Protector Song. Today I will crush his heart." Zhui Xen was brimming with confidence. He took 2 steps forward and launched a swift attack at Li Fan. Zhui Xen's palm technique was indeed scary. Especially when Li Fan was hugging Ling Yu, it looked hard to block. But the great war god popped out once again and stretched out his huge palm. Before Zhui Xen's palm landed, he had already sent out a punch. Beating Tiger. Right now, Li Fan's move, Transforming Toad, had reached the acme of perfection. Under the state of the great war god, he could also use the other Qi Huang fists, especially Beating Tiger. Once he found the opponent's weakness, he would immediately break it. Zhui Xen came fast and left fast. He fell heavily on the ground 3 meters away. Song Fuya was very dissatisfied. "You rely on wrestling to win against Li Fan. Just now I had slipped away. I won't do it anymore." Zhui Xen climbed up and stabilized his mind before pointing at Li Fan and roared, "I have already focused 120% of my mind. You are dead." As he spoke, Zhui Xen's feet began to shift rapidly as he closed in on Li Fan. Ling Yu was a little worried. This Zhui Xen was one of the devil sect's 4 heavenly kings. Just now, her 3 most capable generals had all died under his palm. That heart destruction palm was comparable to a fatal poison. If one was hit by that palm, even if he didn't die, he would be crippled. But Li Fan's face didn't have any trace of fear. He stood there hugging himself as the corner of his mouth was slightly raised, as if he was very excited. This man's mouth was still stained with blood. It should be the condition of his meridians being damaged. In this kind of state, he could still be excited? How much did he like to fight? Zhui Xen once again arrived in front of Li Fan. This time, it was even faster and fiercer. The great war god suddenly sent out another punch. Beating Tiger. Zhui Xen's body was once again sent flying. Facing Zhui Xen's direction, Li Fan let the great war god throw out a ball of qi. Golden Toad Spitting Pearl. That ball of qi quickly caught up to Zhui Xen's body and exploded on his body, tearing his body apart. Although it wasn't completely torn apart, it still forcefully tore off one of Zhui Xen's arms. He screamed as he fell from the sky onto the ground as he wailed in pain. The loss of an arm was too great a price for him. Li Fan. Seeing this scene, Ling Yu let out a sigh of relief as her hatred was vented. This person raped and pillaged, committing all sorts of crimes. Back then, just to rape a girl, he even massacred an entire village. All right. Li Fan nodded his head as the great war god gathered his qi. Those devil sect disciples immediately stood in front of Zhui Xen, seemingly wanting to protect one of the 4 heavenly kings. 7 Brilliance Fist. Highest Profound. Li Fan controlled the great war god. The great war god's body was completely stretched out as both of his arms formed a bow shape, pulling them behind his back as both of his hands grabbed a ball of qi. The two balls of chi kept twisting as they moved in opposite directions and spun rapidly. Dragon spitting pearl. The great war god pushed out the two balls of chi. The two balls of chi tangled together in the sky as they rubbed against each other, strengthening each other. Boom. The two balls of chi exploded on the opposite group of people. The strong chi turned into a whirlwind as it quickly tore them apart. In a blink of an eye, the group of people enveloped by the chi were all torn into minced meat. Even Jue Xen was the same. No one was able to escape from this attack. When the whirlwind passed, the ground was filled with minced meat. It was really like a dragon spitting pearl, destroying everything. Song Fuya, who was standing at the side, was completely dumbfounded. This Li Fan, even after being forced to this point, he still has this kind of strength? Could it be that in solipsism, other than the sect leader, no one can defeat him? After a dragon spitting out a pearl, Li Fan asked in a loud voice with an aggressive aura. Chapter 652. Li Fan's aura is unparalleled for a moment. Those devil sect disciples look at Li Fan and the great war god behind him. None of them dare to step forward. Even Jiexen of the four heavenly kings was killed. What ability do they have to win against little overlord Li Fan? Li Fan's great war god stretches out his hand and releases Dragon Toad Absorption, pulling the sect leader's substitute in front of him. The great war god grabs the substitute's neck and lifts him up into the air. The substitute's legs are constantly kicking. Weren't you very powerful earlier? Come on. Li Fan looks at the substitute whose face is flushed red and sneers. Since you like to act as a substitute so much, why don't you die in place of your sect leader? You will die a horrible death. The sect leader's substitute screams. Speak, where is your sect leader? Li Fan subconsciously took a look. Song Fuya and Jiang Feng had slipped away without him noticing. This substitute was the only way to break through. I don't know even if I know. I won't tell you, that substitute is actually quite stubborn. Alright, then you have no more value to me. The great war god exerts force and directly breaks the substitute's neck. The great war god casually tosses the substitute's corpse to the side. The remaining devil sect disciples do not dare to make an enemy out of Li Fan. They all retreat. Li Fan carries Ling Yu and walks out step by step. He walks as if he is taking a stroll in the park, happy and at ease. Those devil sect disciples do not dare to take a step forward. After Li Fan walks out of the door, he spits out another mouthful of blood. The great war god is about to collapse. Your meridians are damaged. You need to recuperate. Ling Yu cannot help but remind him. I also want to, but now is not the time. Li Fan looks at the heavy traffic in front of him. Which city are we in now? Shanghai. Ling Yu is a little ashamed. We also thought that the devil sect's headquarters is here. Seems like we have been mocked. A cunning rabbit has 3 burrows. Li Fan said, if he can find their headquarters easily, it means that Li Wei is too careless. Li Wei is a respectable opponent. Even Ling Yu couldn't help but praise this devil sect's sect leader. He will be a formidable opponent for our 4 major alliances. Speaking of which, your meridians are injured. Are you really alright? I'm alright. I just feel that you're a little heavy. Bastard. Ling Yu was so angry that she struggled to get out of Li Fan's embrace. Who allowed you to hug me? If I don't carry you, you can walk out on your own. Li Fan chuckled, and Ling Yu turned her head away angrily. Humph, you are indeed famous for being annoying. Oh? Am I that famous? You are really famous in the 4 alliances. Every alliance wants to take you in. Our alliance leader Long has been talking about you so many times that he almost asked you to be the deputy alliance leader. When she mentioned the dragon language, Li Fan noticed that there seemed to be some fluctuations in Ling Yu's gaze. Seems like this girl likes their alliance leader. TSK, that's a new discovery. Since you're already out, let's part ways here. Li Fan adjusted his internal breath slightly and calmed his injuries. I'll have to trouble you. Ling Yu suddenly said shyly, I've temporarily lost my skills. I don't have the ability to protect myself at the moment. If the cult takes the opportunity to find me, I'm afraid I'll fall into their clutches again. Do you want me to escort you? Li Fan understood the meaning behind those words. Ling Yu nodded. Just send me to our branch in Shanghai. When I get there, someone will naturally protect me. Girl, you really cherish your life. I just don't want to die in vain. Ling Yu glared at Li Fan angrily. Sure, it's not a problem if you want me to escort you. Li Fan stretched out his hand and opened his palm. What are you doing? Collecting money. Li Fan rolled his eyes. I'm an escort, okay? You want me to escort you, you have to give me money. It's a waste of effort. Why don't you have any Jianghu Code of Brotherhood? Jianghu Code of Brotherhood, I do. Li Fan laughed. Saving you from the hands of the cult grandsons, this is the Jianghu Code of Brotherhood. But the Code of Brotherhood has been used up, now it's time to talk business. Shameless. Hey, I'm just giving my labor and earning money. How is it shameless? You little girl, there's something wrong with your 3 views. By the way, it's quite easy to earn money from your 4 major alliances. Bastard. Fine, since you don't want to talk, then I'm leaving. Li Fan turned around and was about to leave but was pulled back by Ling Yu. Don't, okay, how much money do you want? Your branch is also in Shanghai? Yes. How long is it? Around an hour. Oh, then I'll give you a discount. After all, we're all children of the Jianghu, it's fate that we know each other. I have to give you some face. Yes. Then 10,000 for an hour. If you have a few more minutes, just treat it as my gift to you. Ling Yu was stunned. This is called discount? 10,000 Even though she is riding Whistling West Wind, her monthly salary is only a little more than 10,000 and this is the salary of a branch leader. Riding Whistling West Wind has its own business to support these martial artists in the alliance. But there are too many people, it's impossible to have so much money. But everyone is living frugally, following by Long Fengyu's side, they are willing to help him achieve great things. One day, everyone will eat and drink together, isn't that great? This Li Fan, opening his mouth, 10,000. Does he think money falls from the sky? No money, no problem, see you later. Li Fan is about to leave again but was pulled back by Ling Yu. Ling Yu's pretty face is red. Clearly, she is angered by Li Fan to the point of choking. Are you going to use it or not? Give me a straightforward answer. Li Fan urges. Use it? Ling Yu's eyes are red and she is about to cry. When we reach the branch hall, I will get my brothers to pass it to you. This damnable Li Fan, he is simply a bloodsucker. Look, this is another joyous business deal. I wish us a smooth cooperation. Li Fan stretches out his hand and shakes Ling Yu's hand, indicating that the contract is established. Speaking of which, how are we going to the branch hall? We can just take a taxi. Do you have money? Do you have? The 2 of them look at each other helplessly. Li Fan had even lost his handphone. He can't even turn on the GPS. His qinggong is too weak. Let's take the subway. Li Fan takes out $10 from his pocket. This is the only bit of money he has. Fine. Ling Yu wants to cry but has no tears. Spending 10,000 just to take the subway? Li Fan, you are a huge scam. Chapter 653. 10,000 RMB. What kind of airline would that be? It would be enough for a first-class seat. Now the 2 of them can only squeeze in the subway. Ling Yu really wants to cry but has no tears. It seems to be rush hour. The 2 of them squeezed in the subway, surrounded by people, and the air circulation is not good. The stench of sweat almost suffocates Ling Yu. Scam his whole family. Tricking his ancestors. Ling Yu no longer believes in Li Fan. This guy is unreliable. However, Li Fan was happy and content. He stood on the subway as if there was no pressure at all. Don't you feel uncomfortable? Ling Yu cannot bear it and sends a voice transmission to Li Fan. It's all right. There are so many people, don't you feel squeezed? I feel that it is quite interesting. This is my first time taking the subway. Li Fan had taken the subway once when he went to Yellow Springs, but that was a special subway and there were basically no passengers. This method, is it worth 10,000? Ling Yu finally cannot bear it and asks. Of course it is. Li Fan smiles. If you don't believe me, look 3 meters behind you. There are 2 people on the right. They are both experts from the devil cult. There are also 3 people in the next carriage. They are all martial artists. As for the other carriages, there should be their people there too. How do you know? A man's sixth sense. But Ling Yu does not believe Li Fan's nonsense. This man is too exaggerated. Her alliance leader is still the most stable. We are almost there. They are preparing to make their move. Just as Li Fan finished his sentence, the train slowly enters the platform. Many people start to rush out and squeeze in. At this moment, the 5 experts from the devil cult also squeeze to Li Fan and Ling Yu's side. This is the last chance. The 5 of them can no longer hold it in. They stretch out their hands and slap Li Fan's body. In this crowded carriage, the 5 of them are unable to make any big movements. They can only use their internal energy to tear Li Fan's internal organs. Ling Yu didn't have any internal energy, so she could only watch as the 5 of them attacked Li Fan. However, Li Fan smiled at Ling Yu. He had already gathered his innate chi to fight against the 5 devil cult experts. Among the 5 evil cult experts, 2 were at the peak of perfection while the other 3 were at a higher level. When the 3 of them combined their innate chi, the power was not to be underestimated. But Li Fan just sneered and cut to the Star Luo power art. This meridian was still intact, it was just that Li Fan did not want to use it. At this moment, Li Fan felt as though he could feel the life force of everyone in the carriage. Some people's life force was boundless, while some people's life force was weak. And the most powerful ones were the 5 experts from the devil cult beside him. The vitality of the 5 of them was like a torch, burning fiercely, very dazzling. Li Fan activated his Starfall divine art, and his dantian began to rotate. He began to extract the true chi of the people around him. The 5 devil cult experts were all dumbfounded. Following that, their eyes revealed panic, fear, and despair. The 5 of them wanted to pull their palms back, but it was as though they were glued to it. They could not pull it out at all. The 5 of them wanted to scream, but they did not even have the strength to make a sound. Even the lights in the carriage began to flicker, causing the passengers to panic. They did not know that in an invisible manner, their life force was also being extracted and entered Li Fan's body. This Star Luo power could not only absorb power, but even the innate chi in Li Fan's body had healed the meridians in his body. Ling Yu stood at the side in a daze, not knowing what had happened. After a while, the lights in the carriage returned to normal. The carriage quickly arrived at the next stop. Li Fan grabbed Ling Yu and squeezed out with the crowd. After they walked far away, people were surprised to find that there were 5 people lying on the ground. They had completely lost their breath. They were actually dead. Screams and calls to the police sounded one after another. How are the 5 of them? After Ling Yu came out of the subway station, she could not help but ask Li Fan. Dead. When Li Fan said this, he was very calm. He was even a little shocked himself. When did he become so cold-blooded and ruthless? Good, they deserve to die. Ling Yu fiercely said, I should have killed them long ago. You have a heavy hostility aura, little girl. Li Fan could not help but laugh. As if you don't have a heavy hostility aura. Ling Yu rolled her eyes at Li Fan. The one who killed them was you. Wasn't I trying to protect you? Li Fan winked at Ling Yu. After all, you are worth 10,000 yuan. Isn't it too little? You can give me a little more. 10,000 then. Ling Yu admitted defeat. In front is your riding horse whistling west wind branch. Li Fan saw a water supply station in front. Water supply station? We have to make money, or else we will be starving. Ling Yu rolled her eyes at Li Fan and led him into the water supply station. As one of the 4 branch masters, Ling Yu's face was very recognizable. When she walked in, all the workers slightly saluted her. We have arrived. Give me the money and I can leave. Li Fan did not want to stay here any longer. You unscrupulous businessman. Ling Yu found a few subordinates to gather 10,000 yuan and gave it to Li Fan. The branch master ran in from the outside in a panic and bowed to the 2 of them. I didn't know that Master Ling and young hero Li would be gracing us with your presence. Sorry for not going out to welcome you. Don't be polite, he is about to get lost. Ling Yu glared at the branch master. The branch master hurriedly cupped his hands at Ling Yu. Master Ling, the alliance leader said that when we see young hero Li, we must treat him well. I have already given him 10,000 yuan, is it not enough? Ling Yu fiercely rolled her eyes. Friend, I am in a hurry to go back. Your alliance leader is so hospitable, why don't you help me arrange a car back to a city? Li Fan was still a little afraid of flying. Okay, no problem, no problem. The branch master hurriedly agreed, but it is already late, why don't young hero Li stay at my place for a night? There are many fun places in Shanghai, I will bring young hero Li to have a look, I guarantee that you will be satisfied. Then he chuckled, his meaning was self-evident. Ling Yu's eyes were about to roll up to the sky. She was not stupid, she knew what these men were going to do. It is better not, I have not been home for a few days, my family should be anxious. Li Fan rejected the other party's invitation. Young hero Li is really homesick. Speaking of which, recently alliance leader Murong also dealt with a few branches of the demonic cult and had a lot of merits. The two of you are really like an immortal couple, with the two of you here, the demonic cult's fate is probably over. In the end, the four alliances are doing better. Li Fan did not take credit and cupped his hands. Big brother, please help arrange the car. Chapter 654. After tossing and turning for a few days, Li Fan finally returned home. However, it was different from what he had thought. His house was not a quiet place at the moment. At this moment, the normally quiet villa was filled with black-robed Sword Reliance disciples. Li Fan was shocked. Holy shit, this E-Sword had chased him all the way here? The moment Li Fan arrived at his doorstep, these disciples immediately bowed to him in unison. Welcome, my lord. The respectful attitude these disciples had towards Li Fan made Li Fan a little unable to accept it. What are you doing? Li Fan took a step back in fright. Li Fan, get the hell in here. Murong Ying's voice came from inside the house. She had already sensed his aura. Although it was a little embarrassing, Li Fan still obediently walked into the house. Murong Ying, there are so many people here. Can you give me some face? The moment Li Fan entered, he shouted. Save face? Did you leave me any face? Murong Ying looked at Li Fan angrily, then pointed with her finger. The room was filled with all sorts of betrothal gifts. Night Rain Tower and Zhan Xiaoyan were standing at the side, smiling foolishly at her. Master is back. Even the way Night Rain addressed Li Fan was different. When he saw Li Fan, he stood up and cupped his hands. My lord, I've been looking for you for a long time. I didn't expect you to go to a branch of the devil sect. Awesome. Zhan Xiaotian gave Li Fan a thumbs up. You too. What are you doing at my house? Li Fan asked. To give you a betrothal gift. Night Rain Tower said, please follow me back to Kunlun Mountain today. Get married today. Our alliance master Luo has been waiting anxiously. As soon as Night Rain Tower finished speaking, Murong Ying, who was dressed in a violet qipao, waved her hand and scolded, how dare he? Alliance leader Murong, please don't be angry. Night Rain was not in a hurry. Instead, he looked at Murong Ying with a smile, cupped his hands, and asked gracefully, may I ask, Alliance Master Murong, do you like Lord Li very much? When Murong Ying heard this, she turned her head to the side. Who likes this guy? You guys are thinking too much. Since that's the case, why can't Lord Li marry our alliance leader Luo? Our alliance master Luo seems to be interested in Lord Li. Humph, don't think that I don't know what Luo Shuawu is thinking. Murong Ying snorted coldly. How could she like Li Fan? What's good about Li Fan? Black lines appeared on Li Fan's forehead. What the heck, how could she talk about her fiancé like that? Since Alliance Master Murong feels that Lord Li doesn't have any good points, then let him go. Our Yi Jian feels that Lord Li has a whole body of good points. Night Rain Tower spoke as if he was very familiar with it. Firstly, Lord Li is so young, yet he already has such great skills. This is a great talent. There is no organization that doesn't want to recruit such an expert. Secondly, Lord Li is an upright person. Facing millions of evil devil followers alone, his expression did not change. This kind of courage and bravery is worthy of praise. Night Rain Tower raised a third finger. Thirdly, Lord Li is very loyal. No matter what, my alliance leader Luo is an outstanding beauty. In front of such a beauty, Lord Li is still able to control himself and return to alliance leader Murong's side. This quality is indeed like gold. It is very admirable. When Murong Ying heard this, her expression seemed to become a little better. She didn't say anything. When Li Fan heard this, he felt a little smug. He actually had so many good qualities. Say more. I am very happy listening to you. Li Fan indicated to Night Rain Tower. That's all. Night Rain Tower's words caused Li Fan to be slightly disappointed. However, he continued. These three qualities, if anyone else has one of them, they would be a hero among men. Lord Li already has 3 of them. You should be satisfied. All right, what you said makes sense. Li Fan was about to burst into laughter. This Night Rain Tower's words are quite pleasant to listen to. Yi Jian's battle commander is indeed quick-witted and has a glib tongue. Murong Ying started to look at this purple-robed man who likes to hide his hands in his sleeves. Night Rain Tower. In the future, he will definitely be someone. Alliance leader Murong, my alliance leader Luo truly likes Li Fan. Otherwise, she wouldn't have specially asked me to come and find him. At this moment, Zhang Xiaotian suddenly stood up and cupped his hands towards Murong Ying. Let me bring him back. Li Fan clearly saw that Night Rain Tower secretly gave Zhang Xiaotian a thumbs up. Damn, these two are singing the same tune. Zhang Xiaotian is a heroic man. His intelligence is definitely not low. Right now, he is cooperating with Night Rain Tower to persuade Murong Ying. However, Murong Ying coldly snorted. Even if I don't want my Murong family's things, I will destroy them. How can I hand them over to others? Damn, when did I become a thing? Li Fan glared at Murong Ying. This girl is asking for a lesson again. I admit that Li Fan might be somewhat outstanding, but that has nothing to do with Luo Xuewu. Murong Ying said resolutely. No matter when, Li Fan is my, Murong Ying's man. Yi Jian, don't have any thoughts about him. To Li Fan, these words are really strange. Forget it, I don't want to think about it anymore. This girl, Murong Ying, always speaks in such a tone. How about this? Night Rain Tower suddenly took a step back. However, what he said made Murong Ying unable to accept it. In a few days, it will be Manor Lord Murong's 60th birthday. Our alliance leader Luo will also personally pay a visit. At that time, let alliance leader Luo personally make the request. You guys? Do you think that I, Murong Ying, am easy to bully? Murong Ying suddenly became angry. Her body released a powerful wave of true qi that spread out. The surrounding tables and chairs slid far away from the impact. Night Rain Tower and Zhang Xiaolan also used their own skills to stabilize their bodies. Alliance leader Murong, please forgive us. We are only doing this for our alliance leader. Night Rain Tower stood there and said slowly, even if alliance leader Murong kills the 2 of us, I'm afraid it won't change my alliance leader Luo's mind. Pumph. Murong Ying coldly snorted and waved her hand. Night Rain Tower and Zhang Xiaotian were both heroes, but they were unable to block Murong Ying's inner force. Their bodies were directly sent flying out of the door and fell outside. Scram, don't appear in front of me again. The 2 of them got up, rubbed their buttocks, patted the dust off their bodies, and respectfully bowed to Murong Ying to bid farewell. Murong Ying waved her hand, threw out the betrothal gifts, and then heavily closed the door. The disciples of Lean Sword immediately surrounded him and asked all at once. Mr. Yi, how is it? Big brother Zhan, is there any hope? Zhan Shan shook his head, but Night Rain Tower smiled mysteriously. No worries, I have my own plans. Chapter 655. Li Fan had finally returned to school. He had even forgotten that he was still a student. This was the first time in his life that Li Fan felt that going to school was such a wonderful thing. The moment Li Fan stepped into the school grounds, he felt a familiar aura. When the surrounding students saw Li Fan, they all greeted him. However, many of the freshmen did not recognize Li Fan. When they saw the seniors greeting him, they could not help but whisper, "Who is this guy? I don't know. I've never seen him before. Why is everyone greeting him?" Under the admiring and puzzled gazes, Li Fan walked all the way to his class. Seeing him arrive, some of the students in the class were happy, some were surprised, and some were gnashing their teeth. The little tyrant had returned. This number 2 private high school would probably be bustling again in the future. Li Fan walked to his desk and looked at the empty seat next to him. Little Four Eyes by Lin Luo. He probably would not have the chance to go to school in the future. Students, ugh. Li Fan is here. The homeroom teacher had just entered and was about to say something when he suddenly raised his head and saw Li Fan. He hurriedly greeted Li Fan. Li Fan nodded at the homeroom teacher. Only then did the homeroom teacher dare to continue. In order to respond to the call of the country, quality education and fair treatment, the school has decided to cancel the key experimental class. The students in the experimental class will be separated into different classes. The homeroom teacher's words caused a burst of discussion. Yo, this is not a small movement. However, this was a good thing. In the past, because of the key class, many students wanted to enter it. All kinds of competitiveness, pressure, and even a sense of class differentiation. Now that the experimental class was cancelled, it was really a good thing for them. Are there any parents who protested? Li Fan could not help but ask. Of course there are. The school has also withstood a lot of pressure. The form teacher smiled at Li Fan. But ever since you initiated a reform, the school has always insisted on putting people first and never discriminating. Every student is the school's most precious asset. We can't just catch a few key students. We should treat everyone equally and let everyone experience the atmosphere that a real school should have. Long live! Long live the school! Long live Li Fan! These words really touched the bottom of everyone's heart. Many students cheered. When Li Fan saw that the form teacher wanted to say something, he immediately stretched out his hand to stop the students. Only then did they quiet down. The school respects everyone, and please respect the school as well. Li Fan said, respecting teachers is the foundation of every student. Don't forget that. These students were in awe of Li Fan. Upon hearing his words, they all lowered their heads and admitted their mistakes. All right, everyone is too excited. The new form teacher was relatively young and his prestige was indeed not high. He clapped his hands. Actually, I have a few things to announce today. First is the new education bill. Second is that there are a few new students in the class. Some are from the experimental class, and some are from other schools. In the future, everyone will study together and take care of each other. Come on, come in one by one. The form teacher called out to the door. A beautiful little girl immediately walked in. All the students' eyes went straight. Wang Chang was a little unable to sit still. Lin Yuan, the school's #1 campus belle, actually transferred to their class. This is not a stranger to everyone. She is Lin Yuan, our school's #1. In the future, she will study and live together with everyone. Let us welcome her. The students applauded enthusiastically, making Lin Yuan a little embarrassed. Teacher, can I sit next to Li Fan? But Lin Ying still mustered up her courage and said, Sure. The form teacher nodded. Lin Yuan suddenly smiled. Carrying her school bag, swaying her ponytail, she charmingly walked to Li Fan's side. Please take care of me. Under the dumbfounded gaze of Li Fan, Lin Ying sat down and winked at him. It's not easy to become a deskmate. In the future, you must come to class often. Lin Yuan softly said in Li Fan's ear, In the future, if you don't, I will help you make up for it. Thank you. Li Fan said, I can't live like this anymore. Letting a perfectionist like Lin Yuan sit next to me, isn't that asking for my life? There's also Murong AI. She also came back to school. Hello everyone. Murong AI skipped in. When she saw a girl sitting next to Li Fan, she immediately pouted. Because Li Fan didn't come to school, Murong AI also didn't come for a long time, causing the male students to miss her. The moment this lass came back, she immediately pulled the class's attractiveness level up. There's also a student, Xiai. Everyone welcome her. When Li Fan heard this name, he was stunned. Little senior sister Xiai was wearing a school uniform with her hair tied up in a braid. She gracefully walked in and greeted the surrounding students. The male students were all stunned. What a classic beauty! Different from the other girls, this Xiai was like a beauty that walked out from an ancient painting. Her face was like a peach and her eyes were like pearls. Little senior sister, why are you here? Li Fan immediately transmitted his voice to Xiai. Am I not welcome? Xia Ho sat near Li Fan and asked telepathically. In the entire class, there were only a few empty seats next to Li Fan. They were specially left by the students to show their respect to the little tyrant. Now, a few beauties were sitting there. I'm just a little surprised. Didn't we arrange a university for little senior sister? I couldn't keep up with the progress, so I came to high school to restudy. Restudy from the 3rd year of high school? Only a ghost would believe that. Also, Ling Tian said that when the head escort returns to a city, he will definitely stir up a storm, so he asked me to protect you. With little senior sister's strength, she still wants to protect me. It's already good enough that I don't protect her. Li Fan fiercely cursed in his mind. Little junior brother, don't look down on me. My charming swordsmanship is not bad. Xiai seemed to be unconvinced and pouted. Senior sister is mighty and domineering. Li Fan hurriedly said good words, but his head was already swollen. The homeroom teacher seemed to have not finished her introduction. She waved at the door. There are 3 more students. Come in together. The classroom door was pushed open, and 3 beauties walked in. These 3 girls had red lips and white teeth, competing with each other for beauty. It was truly a feast for the eyes of the boys. Li Fan was stunned because there were 2 familiar faces among them. Ling Yu, Jin Jioma. Why are these 2 girls here as well? Are you kidding me? What the hell are they here for? Jin Jioma rolled his eyes at Li Fan. Ling Yu also looked at him unhappily. Li Fan immediately understood. Damn, it must be Night Rain Building and Long Fengyu's doing. Chapter 656. Letting Ling Yu and Jin Kumo enter the school was definitely to get close to him. These 2 girls were still young. It was suitable for them to be in their 3rd year of high school and wouldn't arouse any suspicions. Long Fengyu, Night Rain Tower, these 2 fellows. Li Fan really wanted to beat them up. However, Li Fan didn't recognize the 3rd girl. Her face was like a peach blossom, and her expression was like spring. Ling Yu and Jin Kumo were both beauties, but compared to her, they paled in comparison. Almost all the male students' gazes fell on her. These 3 also entered the school at the same time. Please introduce yourselves. The homeroom teacher clapped his hands. Jin Kumo. Although Jin Kumo was forced to wear the school uniform, her hair was dyed green. How much did this girl like the color green? Her way of introducing herself was also very simple, but after saying her name, she added another sentence. All men, don't provoke me or else I'll crush your bones. All the male students shuddered. Li Fan also laughed dryly. This was really Jin Kumo's style. In her heart, she would probably only be nice to Night Rain Tower. You said what I said. Ling Yu seemed to be in a bad mood. Although she was young, she was still the hall master of Whistling West Wind. I'm happy to. Do you want to fight? Sword Reliance's people are all bad people. Horse Reliance's people are also idiots. The 2 of them glared at each other, and the homeroom teacher quickly came out to mediate. No fight? Alright, this is Ling Yu. Ling Yu crossed her arms and snorted. Li Fan's head hurt even more. These 2 girls were going to defy the heavens. My name is Ching Mohan. Although the 3rd girl was dressed ordinarily, she was beautiful. She smiled sweetly, and the hearts of the male students instantly melted. Please take care of me. Sit here with me. There's an empty seat next to me. All the male students extended invitations to Cheng Mohan, but Cheng Mohan smiled and walked to sit near Li Fan. Ling Yu and Jin Kumo looked at each other and hurriedly followed. They sat beside Li Fan. For a moment, everyone's angry gazes were cast over. Li Fan couldn't sit still. He knew that he had become the target of public criticism again. "Teacher, I'm late." A boy hurriedly ran in and apologized to the homeroom teacher. "Oh yes, there's also student Lu Zhu. He's also a freshman, please welcome him." Sparse applause came from below. Clearly, they were not interested in boys. But all the girls were applauding. After all, Lu Zhu was a handsome young man. A lot of girls winked at Lu Zhu, but Lu Zhu still sat on Li Fan's side. "Why you here?" Li Fan transmitted his voice over. He felt like his head was about to explode. Brother Li, what are you saying? I'm also at the age to go to school. Shouldn't I be studying here? Damn it." Li Fan couldn't help but curse. "You're obviously here to join in the fun." Hee, I can't help it. I was born to join in the fun. Look around you. There are so many people around you. Now, all the major forces want to compete for you. You're in high demand. Compete my ass. I have my own escort agency. Why would I want to play with them? No matter if it's possible or not, I still have to try. Lu Zhu took a second look at Li Fan. "Brother Li, you're no longer the newbie martial artist you once were. The current you has a fatal attraction to all the organizations. Not only you, but also your 7-hero fist. If these organizations take you in, you can use your 7-hero fist to help them train new disciples." Lu Zhu's words enlightened Li Fan. It seemed that many people here were actually here for the 7-hero fist. The importance of this fist technique was far greater than himself. Li Fan didn't know whether to cry or laugh. Lu Zhu also sat next to Li Fan. Right now, Li Fan was surrounded by many beauties. Lu Zhu was the only handsome man, which was really enviable. "Because I'm going back to my hometown to get married, our class teacher will be replaced temporarily." The class teacher suddenly said. "Teacher, who's the new teacher?" Yes, why is there a sudden change?" The class teacher mysteriously smiled. "Don't worry. I guarantee you'll be satisfied." With that, he took 2 steps back. A beautiful figure walked in. "Hello everyone. From now on, I'm your teacher." She smiled at everyone. A lot of boys were directly enchanted by her. But Li Fan suddenly stood up. Clenching his fists, his eyes flashed with anger as he looked at the girl. "Li Fan, what's wrong with you?" Ban Ren hurriedly asked. Li Fan restrained his anger. Lu Zhu, who was sitting behind Li Fan on the right, pulled Li Fan's sleeve. "If you have any questions in the future, feel free to ask me." Liao Wushuang charmingly stood there and bowed deeply to the students. "I hope that we're not only teacher and student, but also friends." Li Fan slowly sat down. Now was not the time to erupt. But he knew that a storm was about to break out in his school. This small class gathered most of the Jianghu forces. Devil Sect, Yi Jian, Horse Riding, Murong Villa, Huashan, and now the Storm Mercenary. Moreover, there was also an unknown Cheng Mohan, whose origin was still unknown. "Teacher Liao, I've long heard of your name." Cheng Mohan, who had been silent all this time, suddenly opened her mouth and said to Liao Wushuang in a sweet voice, "I'm very lacking in English. I hope Teacher Liao can help me." "No problem, I'll do my best." Liao Wushuang looked at Cheng Mohan a few more times. A trace of vigilance flashed in her eyes. Okay, I've done what I need to do. It's time to retire." Ban Ren said with some reluctance. "Dear students, let's see each other in a year." Ban Ren, we'll graduate in a year." "Yeah, come back for a graduation party." These students were also somewhat reluctant, but with such a beauty like Liao Wushuang in their class, it somewhat diluted their thoughts of parting. "Rest assured we'll definitely come back. Teacher Liao, I'll leave them to you." I'll take good care of them." Liao Wushuang handed over to Ban Ren and officially became Li Fan's homeroom teacher. She turned her head, seemingly intentionally or unintentionally glanced at Li Fan. Li Fan's feelings were complicated, mixed, and for a moment he didn't know what to say. "You see, isn't it more interesting?" Lu Zhu's voice came again. "From now on, your school life will be more lively." Chapter 657. Lively. Lively my ass. Right now Li Fan only wants to curse. My life is already messy enough, now they're adding more to the mess. A small number 2 high school, how can it withstand their torment? This class is a comprehensive test. Liao Wushuang also brought a scary news. After so long, we need to test your overall results. Just as Liao Wushuang finished, the students immediately wailed. Everyone, don't be afraid, the questions won't be too difficult, it's just a small test. Liao Wushuang winked at the students. The beauty effect is really awesome. The students immediately stopped complaining and prepared to show off their skills. Pass down the papers. Liao Wushuang let everyone pass down the papers, the first person in each row to the back. When Li Fan received the papers, he took a look. Damn, I don't recognize a lot of them. I haven't been to class for a long time. Recently I've been taught a lot of knowledge, but I really haven't seen them. I've been too focused on Jianghu and the mutants. I really need to focus on my studies. Li Fan looked at the paper and scratched his ears and cheeks. While Lin Yin is sitting on the side, answering the questions in a relaxed manner, like floating clouds and flowing water. Li Fan glanced sideways again and saw that Lu Zhu and Murong AI had answered very quickly. It was as if this question was not difficult for them. Murong AI had inherited her sister's talent and intelligence. She also said that her knowledge is enough for her to go to university. These high school questions are really child's play to her, not worth mentioning. Looking at the others, some are scratching their head like him, some are calmly answering the questions. Li Fan has no choice. He also doesn't want to copy. That's not his true ability. There's no point in handing it in. He finished answering all the questions he knows and handed in the papers. Liao Wushuang is also very good. She sits in the front row, immediately marking the papers. She finished marking a paper in a few strokes and put it aside. Before the class is over, everyone's papers have been marked. Liao Wushuang directly handed them out. In this test, some people are really good, their results improved. But some people are disappointing. Li Fan looked at his own paper. Fuck, 35 points. What the fuck? How embarrassing. I was the one who got first place in the English exam. When Lin Yuan saw Li Fan's paper, she rolled her eyes. Who asked you to neglect your studies? How far have you fallen behind? Lin Yuan said bitterly, you actually answered all these math questions wrong. God, are you a pig? Ahem, there are so many people here. Save me some face. It doesn't matter, I can give you supplementary lessons. Murong sat next to him and said with a smile, I'll definitely make your grades better. Murong's words immediately aroused the hostility of Lin Yu. The two girls stared at each other. Haha, 18 points? You're too awesome. Ling Yu grabbed Jin Jiuma's test paper, glanced at it, and laughed out loud. You're only 25, aren't you embarrassed to laugh at me? Jin Jiuma snatched her paper, her face slightly red as she reprimanded. Cheng Mohan, who was sitting next to them, got a high score of 89. She smiled without saying anything, as if victory was already in her grasp. I should be the one who got the highest score here. This woman seemed to be very confident. Xiaya looked at her 15 points, feeling wronged. She still needed to work harder in the cultural class. I'm sorry, I got 92. Lu Zhu laughed as she raised her paper and waved it. Looks like I'll definitely be the first. If I got 98. You bunch of scums. Murong said arrogantly. Fuck, stop fighting. Is there anyone who scored 100 points? Li Fan rolled his eyes. These people were nothing compared to a top student like Lin Yu. When they saw Lin Yuhsn's paper, they immediately became unhappy. This girl got a very high score. What's the structure of her brain, a robot? What's wrong? It's just that the paper is too easy, it's all about the things that have been tested before. Lin Yuan said indifferently, causing more people to be jealous. Everyone has seen your score. Now that you're all high school students, you can't delay anymore. Liao Wushuang clapped her hands and said, Teacher Liao, you're someone who just came back from studying abroad, why are you so concerned about your score? Li Fan suddenly chuckled. It seems to be different from what you said. Is Teacher Liao hiding something from us? I did come back from studying abroad, But will China change because of me? Liao Wushuang said, I can teach you all the Western things, and I'm happy to teach you. But can China's education accept it? You still have to go through the college entrance exam, and you still have to use your score to speak. If you want to change everything, okay, get into college first. Work hard to climb higher and become a person who can change the rules. When Liao Wushuang said these words, her voice became louder and louder, as if she wanted to shock the depths of Li Fan's heart. But Li Fan was unmoved. I hope you really mean well for us, Teacher Liao. He lightly said, don't let the students down. After all, we have hope. I will give you the appropriate guidance. The rest of the road is up to you. Liao Wushuang gently sighed and continued, well, this test is to let everyone find their own shortcomings. In the following days, I will give you tailor-made guidance according to each of your shortcomings. Everyone needs to be guided? Thank you for your hard work, Teacher Liao. Li Fan interrupted again, you're really considerate. This is what I should do. Liao Wushuang flatly replied. In this class, only Li Fan dared to chat with the teacher in front of the class. When the head teacher spoke, how could the other students dare to say anything? The bell rang, signaling the end of the class. Everyone, take a break. Li Fan, come with me. Liao Wushuang called out to Li Fan. A lot of boys looked at Li Fan with schadenfreude. This time, he's finished, he's going to be scolded by Teacher Liao. But there were still a lot of people who envied Li Fan. Being alone together, even if he's scolded, he's still happy. After all, she's a beautiful teacher. Li Fan, look for me tonight, I also want to talk to you. Lin Yizhen pointed at Li Fan and said, if you don't come, humph, I won't let you off. With that, this girl took out one lesson, one practice, and began to crazily answer the questions. Li Fan can only watch. This kind of ability is not something that can be envied. When Lin Yizhen was born, her learning talent was already maxed out. This ability and hobby of answering questions is not something that ordinary people have. But right now, I should solve the matter with Liao Wushuang first. Chapter 658. Li Fan followed Liao Wushuang into the office. After becoming a head teacher, Liao Wushuang seemed to have her own personal office. The layout of this office was not very big. There were 2 desks, one was empty, and the other one was Liao Wushuang's. It was filled with Western literature works, neat and tidy, with a little girl's unique fragrance. After Li Fan went in, he didn't speak and stood there quietly. Liao Wushuang locked the office door, then walked to her desk, sat there, and looked at Li Fan quietly. The next class is math, I can't miss it. Li Fan suddenly said, I thought you were used to missing classes. Liao Wushuang shrugged her shoulders, your grades have fallen to a mess. I have a lot of things to do. Li Fan smiled coldly, after all, there are some things that I can't choose, right? Because I don't know when the danger will come. Do you still blame me? Liao Wushuang didn't seem to want to talk in riddles with Li Fan, so she asked directly. What do you think? Li Fan asked, what did you do? Did you forget? Should I call you Liao Wushuang or Liao Chanqian? I trust you so much even that I have feelings for you. Hee hee, I'm really a big fool. Li Fan smiled bitterly, seemingly mocking himself. You're right, there are some things that you and I can't choose. Liao Wushuang looked at Li Fan, her eyes didn't evade. Li Fan, whether you want to or not, you have been involved in this whirlpool. It's just a small class, but there are so many hidden underworld forces. This is all because of you, isn't it? I know where they come from, so I will naturally be vigilant against them. Li Fan said, but you, I didn't have the slightest guard against you until you betrayed me. Forget it, saying this makes me seem too hypocritical. Teacher Liao, the reason why you are still alive is that I want to hear what you want to say to me. Li Fan. Liao Wushuang suddenly stood up, walked in front of Li Fan and looked into his eyes. At that moment, Li Fan felt that Liao Wushuang's eyes were full of love. For a moment, Li Fan's heart softened, like 1,000-year-old ice melting. Many times, he would still dream of Liao Wushuang and the days he spent with her. But everything seemed like a dream. A beautiful woman enters a dream, and when she wakes up, she disappears with the wind. Li Fan, do you like me? Liao Wushuang approached Li Fan and asked. I like it. Li Fan looked into Liao Wushuang's eyes and couldn't lie to her. Even now, I still like it. However, I can't stop my hatred for you. You can forget about the hate. Liao Wushuang held out her hand to Li Fan. I'm willing to travel the world with you. Leave this place. I can buy a house in a small town in Europe or America. Only the two of us will live there, no one else. We can forget about these things, forget about society, forget about disputes. You can open a martial arts school and teach those foreigners martial arts to keep fit. I can open a Chinese class and teach those foreigners Chinese. The two of us can have 2 children, then teach them to be successful, watch them get married, and have children. Liao Wushuang pulled Li Fan's hand, until one day, when both of us are old, we can drink tea together and watch the sunset together. Li Fan was dumbfounded, looking at Liao Wushuang. His heart was in turmoil. He knew that if he chose Liao Wushuang now, he would enter a new life. Yes, he was looking forward to it, and he wanted to live the life of watching over each other with Liao Wushuang. But he also knew that once he chose this life, there was no turning back. Li Fan, are you willing to go with me? Liao Wushuang asked again. Teacher Liao. Li Fan held Liao Wushuang's shoulder with both hands, looked at her watery eyes, and asked, The man you like, is he a person who likes to escape? Liao Wushuang's eyes were dull for a moment, then she took 2 steps back. Her body seemed to be weak. She sat on the chair behind him. Her eyes seemed to be sad. It seems that the two of us are destined to be enemies. Liao Wushuang suddenly smiled bitterly. Is it my fault? Although Li Fan couldn't bear it, he still asked Liao Wushuang, You're from the storm, and you're here to kill me. More than that, Li Fan, far more than that. Liao Wushuang wiped her tears, sat up straight, and her expression slowly became cold. I'm not only a mercenary of the storm, I'm also a member of the Imperial Secret Service. The supreme ruler of the Imperial Secret Service, the Jade Emperor of the small heavenly palace, is my father. Liao Wushuang's series of information was like a bomb, continuously throwing it at Li Fan, causing Li Fan to feel like he was about to die. Small heavenly palace, Jade Emperor. What are you talking about? Li Fan, do you think the Imperial Secret Service is the highest law enforcement department? Liao Wushuang smiled bitterly. You know too little. Regarding the small heavenly palace, I can't tell you, but I can tell you one thing, be careful of Cheng Mohan, she's from the Imperial Secret Service. There's really no end to this. Li Fan frowned deeply. Imperial Secret Service, do you really want to make life difficult for me? Your existence has disrupted the rule of Jianghu. The Imperial Secret Service will not let you go. The number 1 on the blacklist is your name. Every member of the Imperial Secret Service wants to kill you as soon as possible, in exchange for endless glory and wealth. What about you? Do you also want to kill me in exchange for power? Liao Wushuang looked at Li Fan. Her eyes were somewhat remorseful. I want to kill you. Not for power. Then what is it for? It's to prove myself. Liao Wushuang said and kicked the iron box next to her. The box immediately popped open, and silver armor flew out and quickly covered Liao Wushuang's body. Soon, Liao Wushuang looked like a future soldier, standing there, looking at him. The armor on her body changed a bit, becoming lighter and smoother, very much like the feeling of Iron Man in the movies. Li Fan, this is the last time I ask you. Will you come with me? I like you, Liao Wushuang, no matter who you are. Li Fan said in a loud voice. But I, Li Fan, will never be a deserter. Liao Wushuang's visor closed, her alloy eye flashed a red light, and at the same time, the joints of the armor continued to spray out white steam. Li Fan, between you and me, only one can survive. You can't kill me. Li Fan's body also burst out a strong true qi. Bam! Liao Wushuang instantly arrived in front of Li Fan, and at the same time, her palm slapped down toward Li Fan's head. Her elbow also sprayed out a lot of steam, strengthening the power of this palm. Chapter 659. Li Fan didn't even raise his hand, letting Liao Wushuang's palm hit his forehead. Bam! All of Li Fan's true qi condensed at the top of his head to block Liao Wushuang's palm. The floor under Li Fan's feet was broken, but his head was safe and sound. I told you you can't kill me. Li Fan looked at Liao Wushuang and said. Liao Wushuang didn't speak. She suddenly raised her knee and ruthlessly hit Li Fan's lower abdomen. Bam! Li Fan used his hands to seal Liao Wushuang's knee. At the same time, he moved his foot forward and hit Liao Wushuang on the ground. Liao Wushuang's hands hit the ground, her body suddenly bounced up, stood up again and took a few steps back. Liao Wushuang adjusted her posture, rushed forward again, and punched straight at Li Fan's cheek. Li Fan directly slapped Liao Wushuang's fist with his right hand. Bam! Liao Wushuang's fist directly penetrated the wall next to her. Li Fan once again grabbed Liao Wushuang's waist and lifted her up. While Liao Wushuang's body was in the air, her palm was aimed at Li Fan. This steel palm is flashing with dazzling white light. This is like Iron Man's impact cannon. Li Fan operated his true qi to protect his body. Liao Wushuang's palm has compressed a large amount of true qi and shot an air cannon at Li Fan. Li Fan leaned to the side. The air cannon hit the table next to him. Bam! The table directly broke into pieces, turning into broken wood on the ground. Li Fan frowned. Liao Wushuang is serious. Why didn't you attack me? Liao Wushuang stepped on the wall, fell to the side, then glared at Li Fan and asked. I don't want to fight with you. Li Fan can't get over this. Liao Wushuang still has a very important position in his heart. Don't be naive, Li Fan. I want to kill you. As Liao Wushuang spoke, a mechanism on her leg popped out, and an alloy knife popped into her hand. She grabbed it and then stabbed it at Li Fan. However, Li Fan just stood there, not even using his protective true qi. Puchi. Blood splashed out, and Liao Wushuang's eyes widened. Red flew past her eyes, but it made her heart ache even more. The alloy knife stabbed into Li Fan's chest and came out from his back. Why didn't you dodge? I don't want to hide. Li Fan's internal organs were injured, and blood flowed from the corner of his mouth. Are you an idiot? Probably. Li Fan smiled. In short, I don't want to fight with you. Since you want to kill me, then kill me. Holding Liao Wushuang's saber, Li Fan slowly moved forward, letting the saber pierce through his body. Blood kept flowing, but Li Fan didn't even frown. If you say between the two of us only one can survive, I hope the one who survives is you. Li Fan said. At that moment, Liao Wushuang could no longer control her tears. You fool. I'm a bit stupid, so I was deceived by you. Li Fan smiled bitterly. If only you could keep deceiving me. You. Liao Wushuang said, Don't move, I'm going to find something to help you stop the bleeding. Li Fan reached out and pushed Liao Wushuang. Before she could let go of the long saber, she directly pulled the alloy knife out of Li Fan's chest. Blood splashed out. Li Fan half knelt on the ground. Losing a lot of blood was not easy for him, not to mention that his chest suffered a penetrating injury. Are you stupid? Do you want to die? If I die, take my ashes to the town you went to and bury them in your yard. Li Fan murmured. I was wrong. I won't think about it, and I won't kill you. Liao Wushuang knelt in front of Li Fan. Quickly stop the bleeding. I beg you. But if I don't die, how will you go back and explain to your father? Li Fan let the blood continue to flow out. Liao Wushuang quickly said, I'll hide it one day at a time. Anyway, my relationship with him is not good. In the future, I will live for you. It's a deal. It's a deal. Looking at Liao Wushuang's serious and slightly pleading eyes, Li Fan stretched out 2 fingers and used true qi to stop the bleeding. In his heart, he was relieved. Damn it, I almost played myself to death. This was definitely the ultimate move. It was the ultimate style's trick of injuring itself to gain the confidence of others. His relationship with Liao Wushuang must be pushed to the peak to be resolved. Fortunately, he had succeeded. Li Fan, how are you feeling? Do you need to go to the hospital? Liao Wushuang was very worried about Li Fan's health. Don't worry, I'm fine. Li Fan waved his hand, indicating that he was much better. Although he was seriously injured, he was, after all, a strong martial artist. Li Fan used his true qi to seal his wound, and at the same time, his true qi flowed to speed up the healing of the injury. But the school uniform was indeed torn, with 2 big holes and blood. It was very obvious. "Wu Shuang, do you have any suitable clothes for me?" Li Fan had already let go of the grudge in his heart, so he asked Liao Wushuang. "No, you have to go to the hospital." Liao Wushuang guessed Li Fan's thoughts and immediately said, "Don't worry, I'm fine. If I die with such a small injury, I won't be a bully anymore." Li Fan said proudly, and at the same time he stood up and directly tore off his shirt. The muscles on Li Fan's body were very good-looking and well-defined. Moreover, the muscles were not exaggerated and looked comfortable and pleasing to the eye. Liao Wushuang blushed slightly, but now was not the time to be shy. She opened the cabinet next to her, took out a medical kit from inside, and began to clean Li Fan's wound. The alcohol rubbed on the wound still hurt a little. However, Li Fan endured it and looked at Liao Wushuang, who had taken off her armor, and carefully wiped his wound. Li Fan looked at Liao Wushuang's impeccable face and felt a little at peace for a while. Perhaps it was really good to live in a world of only 2 people with Liao Wushuang. Li Fan hurriedly shook his head and shook off these thoughts that he shouldn't have. The underworld was still very big, and he still had a lot of things to do. How could he escape to hide alone and be idle? If he really wanted to be idle, he should solve all these things first. There was also a huge Special Abilities Bureau waiting for him to support. There were so many people. If it weren't for the fact that Primeval Escort Agency's business was now big, he really couldn't afford to support all of them. Okay, there shouldn't be any infection. Liao Wushuang helped Li Fan clean his wound and finally breathed a sigh of relief. This math class was wasted again. Li Fan winked at Liao Wushuang. "Teacher Liao, I'm a person who loves to learn." "Screw you. Don't give me that. If you really want to learn, I can help you with your tutoring. I'm also very good at math, not worse than that campus belle of yours." Liao Wushuang pouted coquettishly with a hint of jealousy. "Hey, why do I smell jealousy? Teacher Liao, did you knock over the bottle of vinegar?" Chapter 660. Go to hell. You're the one who has knocked over the vinegar jar. Liao Wushuang coquettishly said, "This is academic, I don't admit defeat." "Teacher Liao, please help me with my tutoring later." "Don't call me Teacher Liao anymore," Liao Wushuang pouted. At this time, she also let go of the knot in her heart, revealing the demeanor of a little girl. "Just call me Wushuang. Why not call her Qian? That's the name that person gave me. I don't like it." Liao Wushuang said very seriously, "My name is Liao Wushuang, unparalleled in the world." Good. Wushuang is mighty and domineering. Li Fan cupped his hands, provoking Liao Wushuang to punch him. "However, you mustn't call me that in front of others. In front of outsiders, you must call me Liao Laosher." Sigh. Life feels so complicated. Li Fan sighed, provoking another round of punches from Liao Wushuang. Ouch. Li Fan suddenly let out a blood-curdling screech. Where you hurt? Let me see." Liao Wushuang was frightened and quickly checked Li Fan's injuries. "Just give me a kiss. Die." Liao Wushuang wanted to punch Li Fan, but after thinking about it, she put down her fist. In the end, she couldn't bear to do it. "All right, Wushuang, I have to go to class too. If I stay here for too long, people will start to suspect me." Let's not expose our relationship for now." Liao Wushuang nodded. "Let me see if I can get more useful information for you. By the way, can you tell me more about the Lesser Heavenly Court?" "It's the small heaven palace," Liao Wushuang emphasized. "What? Little heaven palace. That, your father is called the Jade Emperor. Is he a god?" "Of course not. There are no immortals in this world," Liao Wushuang said, "but his martial arts are superb, he should be the best in the world." "Isn't the number 1 in the world Murong Bo? There are many experts in the world who live in seclusion. Aren't there many people in the top 10 of the list of celebrities who are hiding their names? Liao Wushuang said with a smile. My father, the Jade Emperor, practiced the grand formless divine art and basically dominated the world. Later on, he adopted Commander Wang Zhua as his representative and helped him manage the embroidered uniform guard. I've been an insulator since I was young, so I couldn't practice internal energy. Thus, he gave up on me and left me on the street to die. Fortunately, a kind person adopted me and I survived. In the end, I was not satisfied and joined the Storm mercenary group to hone my skills. This time, I also want to kill you. I want to show him that even if I don't practice inner force, I'm still powerful. If you don't kill me now, you won't be able to prove it, right? There's no need to prove it. Liao Wushuang gently hugged Li Fan and rested her head on his shoulder. Because I've found someone who needs me, silly girl. Although she was 2 years older than him, Li Fan couldn't help but like this woman. Liao Wushuang was strong on the outside but soft on the inside. This girl's heart was actually very fragile. Li Fan couldn't help but want to take good care of her and not let her get hurt. More than that, I can't tell you. Liao Wushuang said with some embarrassment. There are a lot of things that you shouldn't know. Believe me, I won't harm you. I believe you. Li Fan nodded. At the same time, he stretched out his hand. A dark brown wasp flew out and flew in front of Liao Wushuang, scaring her. Poisonous wasp. She grabbed the alloy knife next to her but was stopped by Li Fan. Don't be impulsive, this is my 7 emotions and 6 desires goo. Li Fan roughly explained this thing to Liao Wushuang. Liao Wushuang's eyes lit up. Share emotions? Then I can have true qi? Yes, I can change your insulator. The 7 emotions and 6 desires goo was very powerful. Li Fan believed that Liao Wushuang's physique could be changed. The combination of pure yang body and pure yin body could absolutely go against the heaven's will. But the side effect is also very big. If you keep a certain distance from me, you will definitely be implicated. Li Fan suddenly remembered something. This office should be some distance away from the classroom. If I get stabbed and Murong fainted, that would be bad. Thinking of this, Li Fan couldn't help but want to pat his head. Later on, I can't be too impulsive. If I'm impulsive, the people around me might be unlucky. Li Fan wanted to take back this killer bee. He was just impulsive. But Liao Wushuang had already made a decision. You're injured, it hurts my heart. There's nothing bad about having a different heart with you. You've really decided? Liao Wushuang solemnly nodded. Come, I give myself to you. Okay. Li Fan respected Liao Wushuang's idea. Since she has decided, he should help her. Li Fan sent the killer bee into Liao Wushuang's body. Liao Wushuang immediately moaned and fell into Li Fan's arms. Her body trembled violently as if she had climbed to the peak. She hugged Li Fan tightly, like an octopus, clinging to him. Li Fan swallowed his saliva. This is absolutely a fatal temptation. Especially when Teacher Liao's body is so well developed. Her chest squeezed on my body, it felt wonderful. Amitba, I can't let my imagination run wild. I'm still a high school student. How can I think of such indescribable things? Liao Wushuang trembled for a full 10 minutes. She was high for 10 minutes. She was drenched in sweat from head to toe, and her exquisite figure was highlighted. Li Fan felt his desire to commit a crime was getting stronger and stronger. But Liao Wushuang finally calmed down. She took a deep breath, raised her palm, and slapped the wall next to her. A handprint appeared on the wall. 7 emotions and 6 desires. Pleasure goo could allow an expert who had reached the next level to reach the peak of strength, and could also allow an ordinary person to reach the next level. Now, Liao Wushuang's strength, plus her battle armor, is a bit heaven-defying. I really have inner strength. Liao Wushuang looked at her hands and cried tears of joy. Her dream of so many years actually came true. Wushuang, don't casually destroy public property. Every poison goo, after entering the body, will let the true qi circulate in the body according to a certain cultivation method, automatically practicing a certain martial art. According to Murong, The martial art brought by the killer bee should be similar to heart destruction palm. The state is similar, so Li Fan might as well call it heart destruction palm. If the Een Gate people knew that Li Fan is so casual, they would probably be half dead from anger. 7 emotions and 6 desires union gu, that was a treasure that they dreamed of refining. Chapter 661. Although Liao Wushuang has never practiced any internal force, she still has a powerful father, so she has some understanding of internal force. Now that she has gained some internal force, she sat cross-legged on the nearby sofa and began to silently practice. Li Fan didn't want to disturb her. He took out an unknown school uniform from the nearby cabinet and put it on his body. The owner of the school uniform was probably a bit fat, so when Li Fan put it on, it looked a bit out of place. But it's still better than being naked. Liao Wushuang will clean up the scene by herself. When Li Fan was about to leave, Liao Wushuang threw out a sentence. Be careful of Cheng Mohun, she's using soul-burying song. Li Fan opened the door and slowly slipped out of the office. The hallway of the school building was empty and very quiet. From the other side of the hallway came the sound of reading. Li Fan walked along the hallway and slowly returned to the classroom. There was a knock on the classroom door. The person in the class was an old man who taught geography. He had a common Mediterranean hairstyle and was wearing an old-fashioned shirt and trousers that were often unzipped. His temper was not very good. When he heard the knock on the door, he immediately lost his temper. Who dares to be late for my class? He angrily shouted at the door, Get in here! Then stand and finish the class. Li Fan opened the door and entered. The old man was silly. I'm sorry, Teacher Yang, I'm late. Li Fan obediently stood at the door. I'll stand here and listen to your class. How can I? It's my fault, teacher. Please continue the class. The old man wiped his cold sweat and continued the class. A lot of suspicious eyes fell on Li Fan. Lu Zhu, Lin Ying, Ling Yu, this group of people all looked at him. Are you going to die with the beautiful teacher? Lu Zhu sent a telepathic message while winking at him. Go away. Li Fan glared at Lu Zhu. How can you talk to your big brother like this? I just feel that big brother's life is so happy. He has all kinds of beauties accompanying him, and his luck with women is not shallow. As his little brother, I'm so jealous. Lu Zhu said enviously. All right, leave the demonic cult and join the phenomenal escort agency. Li Fan did not get annoyed. Instead, he went along with Lu Zhu and said, I promise to let you enjoy this kind of life. Then forget it. Everyone has their own ambitions. Lu Zhu continued, but I'm just worried that you'll die from excessive ejaculation. Believe it or not, I'm still a virgin. Li Fan said proudly. It's not funny. Lu Zhu did not believe it at all. Why would I lie to you? Since we're on the same side, we shouldn't hide anything from each other. Li Fan said straightforwardly, I have nothing to lie to you about. But haven't you been living with Murong Ing for so long? You actually didn't take her down. She's a challenge. Even if I'm her fiancé, if I want to sleep with her, I have to defeat her. Li Fan wanted to cry but had no tears. Sometimes she'll suddenly agree, but she'll quickly change her mind. Such a fickle woman. I didn't expect Alliance Master Murong would have such an interesting story. Then big brother, you can't do it either. Lu Zhu clicked her tongue a few times, angering Li Fan to the point of rolling his eyes. Fuck, what do you mean I can't do it? Take off your pants, I'll fuck your anus. Lu Zhu actually couldn't accept such a joke. Her cheeks turned red and she was speechless for a long time. Li Fan was somewhat proud. Humph, this kid wants to fight with me? Don't you know I've already taken off my integrity? Young Master Li, what are you talking about? Why are you so happy? Just as Li Fan was enjoying his small victory, another woman's voice came into his ear. This voice was as soft as water, as if it could melt a person's heart. Li Fan turned around and saw that Cheng Mohun was sitting there and winking at him. I was wondering who it was. So it's the soul-burying song. Li Fan's voice was calm. You finally can't help but want to chat with me? Young Master Li is a dragon among men. Any girl would want to get close to you. Cheng Mohan's voice tugged at the heartstrings. Miss Cheng is also among them? Of course. This concubine is also a girl. I'll also be moved by outstanding young men. Cheng Mohan was clearly transmitting her voice from far away, but Li Fan felt as if she was sticking close to his ear. His bones were about to go numb. This woman is definitely a calamity. He felt that his lower body was about to rise up. There were so many people in the class, but he was standing at the door with his crotch on. What kind of appearance was that? Don't give me that. Li Fan let his true chi rush to the top and sobered up a little. What are you here for? Just say it. Of course I'm here to kill you. Cheng Mohan said, young Master Li doesn't need to be too excited. This concubine is different from others. They want to make a move on the people around young Master and force young Master to submit. This concubine likes challenging things, so this concubine is willing to set a 1-year time limit with young Master Li. Within a year, the embroidered uniform guard will not touch the people around young Master Li. This concubine will also kill you within this year. Hee, then shouldn't I thank you? Young Master doesn't need to worry. Who told this concubine to fall in love with young Master? Do you say this to every man you want to kill? Of course not. Young Master Li thinks too badly of this concubine. Cheng Mohan smiled. After all, before I joined the embroidered uniform guard, this concubine was the white signboard of King of Hell. Li Fan was taken aback by those words. A white signboard assassin of King of Hell. In the past, those black signboard assassins were already troublesome enough. Now, he was sent a white signboard. Fuck, don't be too deceptive. Young Master Li, don't worry. This concubine will be very gentle to you. As Cheng Mohan said this, she quietly stretched out her right hand towards Li Fan and clenched it. Li Fan's face immediately turned pale as he felt a sharp pain coming from his chest. This scoundrel woman actually used the little phaseless magic technique to pinch his heart. Li Fan had met 3 of the 4 great black guards of the embroidered uniform guard. As for the other 3, none of them used the little phaseless magic technique. Thus, Li Fan subconsciously thought that Cheng Mohan also did not know how to use it. But now, she suddenly acted up and gave Li Fan a surprise attack. Murong's face also turned pale. She bit her lips and glanced at Li Fan. But Li Fan was not someone to be trifled with. He immediately revolved the true chi in his body and protected the position of his heart. Li Fan used his true chi to block Cheng Mohan's attack. His and Murong's expressions softened a lot. If not for the fact that Murong also practiced a strange technique, perhaps she would have fainted just now. Murong did not make a sound. Instead, she quickly looked for her target in the crowd. Chapter 662. Who was it that wanted to make a move on her brother-in-law's husband? Murong quickly searched for her targets, but no one revealed any flaws. Cheng Mohan used her body to block everyone's line of sight, while Li Fan continued to fight with her. The 2 of them used Li Fan's body as a battlefield. If not for the fact that Li Fan's true chi was condensed, he would have been silently killed by Cheng Mohan. This didn't seem to be the way to go. Cheng Mohan's little phaseless divine art was somewhat mature, and it would be difficult for him to suppress Cheng Mohan. However, Li Fan wasn't stupid. He secretly placed his right hand on his waist and secretly pinched Cheng Mohan. Sky-swallowing toad. Under this mode, although Li Fan's use of true chi couldn't be compared to the little phaseless divine art, it was still unique. Moreover, the place he pinched was a little wicked, it just so happened to be Cheng Mohan's chest. Cheng Mohan moaned, then looked at Li Fan with some resentment. Sweetheart, are you so interested in my chest? Yeah, don't you want my heart too? This time, it was Li Fan's turn to wink at Cheng Mohan. The 2 of them didn't seem to be willing to be outdone. For the entire class, they had been using their inner force against each other. This isn't a solution. Why don't I count to 3, and we let go together? Li Fan opened his mouth and asked. Sure, let's do as Gongzi says. Then I'll count to 3. 1, 2, 3, fuck, let go. Gongzi, let go first. Ladies first. A man should take the lead. The two of them used their true chi on each other. They stared at each other, neither giving way, neither letting go. Fortunately, the class didn't last too long. The bell rang, signaling the end of the class. As soon as the bell rang, the two of them released their true chi at the same time as if they heard a slogan. Both of them took a step back, and Murong immediately rushed to Li Fan and dragged him away. Murong pulled Li Fan and directly barged into a small classroom. Then, without any explanation, she tore off his clothes. "Fuck, what are you doing?" Your wound, how did it come about?" Murong looked at Li Fan worriedly. "I'm fine, don't worry." Li Fan reached out and stroked Murong's head. "Hubby, tell me who wants to kill you." Murong was also an impatient person. "Hey, where did brother-in-law go? Brother-in-law, quickly tell me, I will help you take revenge." Murong's palm was filled with true chi, as if she was ready to strike at any time. "What the hell is brother-in-law? Call him brother-in-law." "Brother-in-law, hubby, tell us quickly." Li Fan was speechless. This little girl, he really couldn't deal with her. Is it Ling Yu? Or Jin Jiuma? Or that Lu Zhu? Murong was smart. She thought for a moment and then said, "No. The three of them are not your opponent." "Who is it?" "Right, is it that Ching Mohan? She must be strange." "It is indeed her, but you don't have to interfere in this matter." Li Fan pulled Murong, who was about to rush out. But Murong was a little angry. "She hurt you like this. I feel distressed." This is not her injury. She doesn't have that ability." "God, then who hurt you?" "Liao Wushuang." "Is it her?" Murong's little brain turned fast, as if lightning, and quickly figured it out. Li Fan was a bit annoyed. "Why are all the girls around me so smart? It makes me look like a fool." This was too displeasing to them. "Don't be impulsive, Liao Wushuang is now one of us." Li Fan took Murong Ai's hand and said to her, "How did she become one of us?" "Brother-in-law. Did you sell your body?" Li Fan admired Murong to death. "Damn, how could she guess everything? This girl is going against the heavens." Can't you calm down? Don't spin your brain like a small motor anymore." I'm thinking normally." "Could it be that I'm wrong?" Li Fan was powerless to refute, because this girl was right. Damn, what a devilish brain. Li Fan admired her to death. He really wanted to kneel to Murong, kneel to the 18th level of hell. "Brother-in-law, did you really take down Liao Wushuang?" Murong stared at Li Fan's eyes as if she wanted to see through Li Fan's heart. But Li Fan tried to keep his eyes calm, so as not to be seen through by Murong. "What are you thinking, Xiao Ai? Is this how you see your brother-in-law?" Li Fan looked at Murong sadly, but Murong pouted. "Isn't it?" "Of course not." Li Fan emphasized again, your brother-in-law, relied on my strong personal charm to influence and conquer Liao Wushuang. Could it be that you, lass, had approached me because of my looks? In your heart, is your brother-in-law just a pretty boy who only relies on his face?" No. Murong quickly shook her head. "But when you said that, I think so. It turns out that I don't have any good points, only my face." No, brother-in-law, you really think too much. After all, you don't have a face." Li Fan was once again choked to death. "I'm just worried that the women outside are tigers. What if they eat you up?" "You're the only one who wants to eat me up, you little tiger." Li Fan stretched out his hand and pinched Murong's nose. "Of course not. Brother-in-law, you don't know that the way those women look at you is like they want to eat you up. That Liao Wushuang too. And that Lin Yu, humph, she can't escape from my eyes. Even that Huashan woman, Xiaoying, is the same. You are thinking too much?" "No, I can see it clearly," Murong said with certainty, "and that Lu Zhu. The way he looks at you is also full of love. Hey, he's a man, how could he look at me with affection?" "That's his problem. Anyway, the way he looks at you is abnormal. Don't you believe me, brother-in-law?" "I believe you, but I feel that you might be a bit sensitive." Li Fan patted Murong's shoulder. "Moreover, your brother-in-law is so outstanding, it's normal for girls to like him." That's true. Murong nodded, but brother-in-law, aren't you a bit too narcissistic? Li Fan wanted to cry but no tears came out. This girl, when she's naughty, she's really deadly. Hurry back to class. Don't let your imagination run wild. Li Fan patted Murong's head. The situation is a bit messy now. Don't give me more trouble. Chapter 663. Murong AI seemed to reluctantly agree. In fact, Li Fan also has a headache. Murong AI should be the biggest unstable factor in this group of people. This little girl is like a time bomb, ready to explode at any time. Li Fan led Murong AI back to the classroom, preparing for the next class. After Chung Mohan attacked Li Fan once, she calmed down a lot and didn't make any other attacks. The last class is Liao Wushuang's English class. When Liao Wushuang walked into the classroom again, Murong AI suddenly raised her head and collided with Liao Wushuang's eyes. The two girls had an invisible contest. The air seemed to be emitting sparks. Liao Wushuang stood on the podium, looking at Murong AI for a long time. The classroom was somewhat quiet for a while. Li Fan noticed their state and couldn't help but cough twice. Liao Wushuang woke up and began to teach everyone English class. But the current Liao Wushuang, compared to before, seemed to have a faint charm, strongly attracting the men's eyes. Almost everyone's eyes are staring at Liao Wushuang, not willing to leave for a second. And Murong AI directly transmitted her voice to Li Fan, scolding. Brother-in-law husband. Why did you let her use the killer bee? Cough cough, this is the price to make her work for me. Li Fan doesn't want to tell the matter between him and Liao Wushuang to Murong AI, lest this little girl explode. 7 emotions and 6 desires. Pleasure goo is a very precious treasure. Brother-in-law husband, please don't give it to others casually. Don't worry, I naturally know what to do. Li Fan comforted Murong AI. So far, I have only sent out 2 goo worms, one for you and one for Liao Wushuang. I always feel a little unwilling. Murong pouted unhappily. Liao Wushuang also felt the aura of the goo worm on Murong's body. She was also very shocked. This was Li Fan's sister-in-law. This bastard, he didn't even let go of his own sister-in-law. Liao Wushuang secretly glared at Li Fan and continued with the class. After her class, it was the evening self-study session. Senior 3 students were required to attend the evening self-study session. Since Li Fan had returned to campus, he was no exception. During the self-study period, Liao Wushuang also sat on the podium and accompanied everyone to study. The entire classroom was so quiet that one could hear a pin drop. Usually, the students sitting in the front row were the better students. They were reviewing their lessons seriously, doing homework, or writing papers. Many of the students in the middle were secretly playing with their phones, while the students in the back were almost all asleep, using the evening self-study period to catch up on sleep. Lin Yuan was sitting next to Li Fan, supervising Li Fan as he did the test paper. By the way, Liao Wushuang seemed to remember something. She looked up and said to the students, the day after tomorrow will be the Mid-Autumn Festival holiday. But this year, the whole city is implementing a comprehensive education of morality, intelligence, physique, beauty, and labor. Therefore, we decided to select 2 schools to participate in the extracurricular activities organized by the city's Ministry of Education. The 2 schools each have a class. The school selected our class. It will be a total of 3 days and 2 nights. If anyone doesn't want to go, you can tell me in advance. Teacher, where are we going? Qingming Mountain. Teacher, are you going? Of course, I'm going. Liao Wushuang nodded her head. The students immediately cheered. Isn't this the same as going out to play? Teacher, no matter if others go or not, I want to go. The students were excited. The sound in the classroom was a lot louder and a bit noisy. Liao Wushuang quickly pressed her hand to make everyone quiet down. Teacher Liao, for these 3 days and 2 nights, are we going to live together? Li Fan couldn't help but ask. Liao Wushuang looked at Li Fan. Her eyes seemed to have some desire. Li Fan, are you going? Everyone looked at Little Tyrant, waiting for this little tyrant's opinion. Let's go. I haven't participated in a group activity for a long time. Li Fan couldn't stand Liao Wushuang's burning gaze. He nodded his head in agreement. Then I'm going too. Murong Ai immediately raised her hand. I'm going too. Ling Yu remembered the task given to her by Long Fengyu and also raised her hand. Then I'm going too. Jean Juma was not to be outdone. Students, I originally said that I'm not going, that's why I raised my hand. Xia Yen couldn't help but ridicule. The two women turned their heads at the same time, as if they were throwing a tantrum. All right, since everyone wants to go, then I'll report the name list. Hee, I think I'm not going. Wang Chang didn't want to invite trouble for himself. In this class, only Wang Chang hadn't transferred out after provoking Li Fan. After all, Wang Chang was a smart person, and he had never provoked Li Fan. However, if he followed him to the expansion activity, he might not do well and provoke Li Fan. It was better for him to stay at home and discuss with his family to transfer him to another class. Staying by Li Fan's side was too dangerous. Understood, then everyone continue with the self-study. Get ready. The students seemed to be a little excited as they whispered to each other. Are you really going to participate in the expansion training? Lin Yizhen lowered her voice. This will affect my studies. It's fine, aren't you by my side? Li Fan blinked his eyes at Lin Yizhen. With a personal tutor, my results won't be bad. Humph, who's your personal tutor? Lin Yizhen fiercely rolled her eyes at Li Fan, and then scolded him. Look at your paper, you got more than half of it wrong. My God, where did your brain go? My brain is already filled with too many things. Li Fan wanted to cry but had no tears. For the time being, it can't hold anything else. If this goes on, you definitely won't be able to pass the university entrance exam. Why can't I pass the exam? Murong overheard their conversation and was unhappy. I'll help with the tutoring. Peking University and Tsinghua University are free to choose. Foreign universities are also not a problem. Your results are just SOSO. Lin Yuzhen did not hesitate to ridicule. How do you tutor Li Fan? Are you looking down on me? Murong was not convinced and stared at Lin Yuzhen. Let the results speak. Lin Yuzhen took out her own paper. I got one more point than you. I just made a mistake. Murong was not convinced. One time's result can't decide everything. Don't be delusional in terms of study. No one can surpass me. Lin Yuzhen has a unique way of dealing with the exam, which can be called the god of exams. Especially when it's related to Li Fan, she can't give in. Want to compete? Let's compete. The two girls quarreled, causing Li Fan to have a headache. As a teacher, Liao Wushuang should step in at this time. Chapter 664. Be quiet. We're still in class. Liao Wushuang criticized them. Humph, you have no right to criticize us. Murong love finally exploded as she pointed at Liao Wushuang and scolded. Don't think that I don't know what you're thinking, little hussy. Don't even think about getting close to Li Fan. Murong love raised her voice. Li Fan is my brother-in-law. My sister Murong Ying's fiancé. A bombshell. The whole class exploded. My God, who is Murong Ying? She's the school's director. The school's director and the student are actually fiancé and fiancé? Is this really possible? All the students didn't believe it, but looking at Murong Love's serious expression, it doesn't seem like she's lying. Could it be true? Many of the boys who have a crush on Murong Ying were on the verge of breaking down as they couldn't believe this fact. Li Fan was also very embarrassed. He didn't know if he should explain or not. He sat there awkwardly, enjoying everyone's attention. What's wrong with fiancé? Unexpectedly, Liao Wushuang's words were even more shocking. He hasn't gotten married yet and he already has a chance. The main thing is, Li Fan is still a student. He shouldn't be in a relationship so early. Although Liao Wushuang added a sentence, the meaning of her words was already very clear. The school's two goddesses, the school's director, Murong Ying, and the teacher, Liao Wushuang, actually have a crush on Li Fan? Don't even think about it. You're all too old. You don't understand Li Fan at all. Lin Yuzhen suddenly interrupted. Only I know what he wants. Many of the boys directly broke down. This isn't fun anymore. Even the school's belle has a crush on Li Fan. They couldn't wait to become a little tyrant. Whoever can marry one of them in this lifetime would be considered as a blessing from 3 lifetimes. This Li Fan, how could he have 3 of them at the same time? And they're all jealous because of him. It wasn't fair. God, you're too unfair. Apart from being able to fight, Li Fan isn't any better than us in any other aspect. Wang Chang really wanted to cry. This Li Fan was not as handsome as him. He was just an ordinary person. At most, he was a little more spirited. How could he make 3 girls fall in love with him? It wasn't 3 girls, it was 3 top-grade goddesses. He had such good qualifications and such a good family background. Why didn't they like him? How am I inferior to little tyrant? After having this thought, Wang Chang secretly slapped himself. Fuck, I almost made things difficult for Li Fan again. Don't court death. There are plenty of women, but you only have one life. He didn't want to be Li Fan's enemy, absolutely not. Alright, stop messing around. Noticing that the other girls, including Lu Zhu, were looking at him with schadenfreude, Li Fan could no longer hold back his anger and roared. This time, the 3 women were well-behaved and looked at Li Fan blankly. We're in class. Can't you study seriously? Li Fan's words caused the 3 women to roll their eyes in unison. Bang! Liao Wushuang placed a stack of papers in front of Li Fan. Do it. Finish it before the end of the evening self-study session. Li Fan almost collapsed. He hurriedly looked at Lin Yuhing. Lin Yuhing snorted, crossed her arms, and turned her head away. Li Fan looked at Murong again. The little lass stuck out her tongue, indicating that she couldn't help even if she wanted to. It's all because of you, lass, caused me trouble, and now you're abandoning me. Li Fan wanted to cry but had no tears. Seeing Liao Wushuang's slightly angry expression, he could only sit down and obediently began to do the papers. Lu Zhu secretly took a handful of papers from Li Fan's papers and took them to do for him. Li Fan was so moved that tears welled up in his eyes. His sworn brother was so kind. Seeing that Lu Zhu had taken the initiative to help, Murong and Lin Yuan also secretly took a few papers and began to help Li Fan. Xia, who also wanted to help Li Fan but was rejected by Li Fan. Fuck, little senior sister's cultural level is not much better than mine. I don't need her help. After a self-study session, they felt like their whole body was about to twitch. In the end, they barely finished all the papers. It's really not easy. Li Fan heaved a long sigh of relief. He thought that he could go home and rest, but the moment he stepped out of the classroom, he was blocked by Lin Yuyi. Where are you going? Lin Yuichsan asked. Who told you to go home? Lin Yusan rolled her eyes. School is over. Where are you going if not home? I said that I would build you up well. Look at you, look at yourself. Indeed, Li Fan had not cleaned himself up for a long time. His hair was very long and messy, and the school uniform on his body was left behind by an unknown big brother. It was fat and big. I've said that I'm your image design consultant. Leave this to me in the future. Lin Yuhan said nothing and pulled Li Fan out. But Murong was already waiting outside with her backpack. When she saw that Lin Yuchen was going to take her brother-in-law away, she immediately reached out to stop them. Where are you going? You're so nosy. Lin Yusen looked at Murong unhappily. Woman, don't think that I don't know what you're thinking. Humph, brother-in-law won't go with you. I'm here to watch him. Murong said and stepped forward to hold Li Fan's other arm. So what if you watch? I'm going to take him away today. I won't let you take him away. The 2 girls quarreled in the corridor. Both of them held onto Li Fan, no one wanted to let go. Li Fan didn't know what to do. He was in an awkward situation. Lin Yuhain suddenly rolled her eyes. She took the initiative to let go of Li Fan's hand and said, Murong, why don't we make a bet? Whoever wins will take Li Fan away. What do you think? Okay, what kind of bet? Murong had a confident look on her face. This little girl was also a very proud person. Moreover, she was good at acting. Sometimes, no one could guess what she was thinking. Let's play a game. We each take Li Fan and hide in a place. Whoever finds the other party wins. Lin Yuethan said confidently. With this school as the boundary? Yes. Not outside this school. My IQ is over 140. I don't want to bully you. You take Li Fan and hide first. I'll count to 100 here. After 100, I'll find you. No need for you to let me. You go first. I'll go find you. How could Murong stand Lin Yuechasion's provocation? Really? Then you're bound to lose. Impossible. You're too conceited. Murong said. She leaned against the wall and began to count. Li Fan, let's hide for a while. Lin Yuyan pulled Li Fan downstairs and walked toward the school gate. Not going to hide? Hide your ass. Chapter 665. Li Fan did not know whether to laugh or cry at Lin Yuechasion's trick. Poor Murong AI. She had always been fooling others, but today she was fooled by Lin Yi. The two of them walked out of the school. Li Fan secretly took out his phone and sent a message to Murong AI so that she would not be anxiously looking for him. My dear Miss Lin, where are you taking me? Li Fan could not help but ask. I'm taking you to fix your image. What's wrong? Do you think I'm ugly? Li Fan could not help but ask. Not really. Lin Yuan saw Li Fan's Audi A4 parked outside. Sun Qingchen was sitting in the driver's seat, smoking quietly. Get in. I'm taking you to tidy yourself up. Lin Yuexian pulled Li Fan into the car and didn't forget to tell him. Don't forget that you're the boss of Fifan and the head of the escort agency. Your image represents the image of our escort agency. That seems to make sense. Li Fan looked at the school in the distance and could not help but nod. Yes, it makes sense. Lin Yuexian said, now that the escort agency is on the right track, you've also become our agency's brand. It's not just me, even Ling Tian is worried about your personal image. It's not that bad. For a student, it's all right. Lin Yuexian analyzed for Li Fan. But for a boss, it's not enough. All right, then I'll leave myself to you. Do whatever you want. Li Fan was at his wit's end. After all, Lin Yuexian was right. He was no longer alone. He was the boss of an escort agency. He could not live as he pleased. That's more like it. Lin Yuexian seemed a little happy, as if she had received the best prize. Why are you so happy? Li Fan asked. Because you trust me. Lin Yuechasion's reply stunned Li Fan. Although Lin Yuexian was extraordinarily intelligent, she seemed to be easily satisfied when she was with him. Was it because he didn't spend enough time with her? But there was nothing he could do about it. He was a student, but from the day Murong Ing appeared, he was pushed into a new world, and everything was not up to him. It was as if there was an invisible hand pushing him forward. What are you thinking about? Lin Yuexian couldn't help but ask when she saw Li Fan in a daze. I was just thinking about myself. Li Fan smiled. Do you remember when you first met me? Of course I remember. You colluded with a hooligan to deceive me. Lin Yuexian winked at Li Fan. Hey. Hee, how could I forget? At that time, I really hated you a little. I thought to myself, how could there be such a lowly person breaking bricks with his bare hands to woo a girl? That's why you hate me. When Li Fan's words fell, Lin Yuexian was silent for a moment and then leaned on Li Fan's body. Lin Yuexian's body was very soft and fragrant. She leaned in Li Fan's embrace, which made Li Fan want to dote on her. Li Fan, do you know what it feels like to be a genius? How would I know? I'm not smart. My feeling is that I feel like I can see through everything. Everyone has no secrets in front of me. Lin Yuexian said, and I was born in that kind of family. I feel that I should use my IQ to earn money for my family, to help my mother share her worries. Lin Yuexian paused for a moment, as if she was adjusting her mood, but her voice sounded a little tired. I always set a goal for myself, and then work hard to achieve it. But every time the goal is easily achieved, and then there's endless emptiness. You make it sound so awesome. Don't interrupt, the feeling is gone. Let me finish. Lin Yuexian lightly patted Li Fan's leg. In my eyes, everyone is inferior to me. This is true, I always have a high opinion of myself, as if living in my own world. All my goals can be achieved until I met you. Me? What's wrong with me? I found out that I'm smarter than you? It's your uncontrollable nature. Lin Yuesen's finger gently stroked Li Fan's leg. I found out. Everything about you, I can't control it. All my judgments about you are wrong. Li Fan, I've probably never confessed to you. But I like you. Huh. This was indeed the first time this girl openly confessed to him. Li Fan actually did not know how to answer. You're beyond common sense. In the beginning, you probably stimulated my desire to challenge. But now indeed, I like you, Li Fan. But I have a fiancée. But you don't like her that much. Lin Yun suddenly raised her head and looked into Li Fan's eyes seriously, then said, Li Fan, do you know, although there are so many women around you, but it seems that you don't really like any of them. Ah. Feelings are also a kind of data, I can see it. Lin Yun said, when all the women appear, on average, you don't take the initiative to look at them for a long time. Instead, you look at Lu Zhu for the longest time. Stop fooling around. How could she be interested in a man? Impossible. Li Fan, you really don't know? Lin Yusen was a little angry. Or are you pretending to be stupid? What are you talking about? I don't understand. Li Fan was a little baffled. Lin Yin raised her eyebrows, but suddenly did not mention this topic. Forget it, it's fine. Hey, you girl, why don't you finish your words? Humph, I just don't want to say it. Hey, am I really a homosexual? Li Fan was a little nervous. It's okay, I won't discriminate against you. Lin Yusen laughed. After all, this is a modern society. Damn, this has nothing to do with modern or not, okay? Li Fan was about to collapse. I think I still like women. If you say so. Lin Yusen shrugged her shoulders. Speaking of which, I think you and Yen Kai are quite compatible. The boat of friendship is about to capsize. Then let's start the wheel of love. In terms of eloquence, Li Fan was a little inferior to Lin Yue. Dear Boss Li, here we are. Lin Yueton pulled Li Fan and stopped at the business street. The business street was very prosperous. Even though it was already past 10 o'clock at night, the shops here were still open and many people were shopping. Let's go. Let's start with your clothes. Chapter 666. The clothing stores closed around 12 o'clock, so Lin Yueyin decided to start with clothes. She brought Li Fan to several clothing stores and finally chose a few clothes. After choosing the clothes, it was time to trim Li Fan's hair. There was a famous hairstylist in the business district. Lin Yin seemed to have already booked a hairstylist for Li Fan. It was said that the hairstylist was a master who studied in France and personally did Li Fan's hair. A hairstylist cost a few thousand yuan, but Li Fan calculated that it didn't seem to cost much. This group of masters were too good at making money. It was simply robbery, earning a few thousand yuan with just a few scissors. Okay. Lin Ying looked at the brand new Li Fan and was very satisfied. At this time, Li Fan was wearing a casual slim-fitting suit and a pair of slender trousers. However, Li Fan didn't like wearing leather shoes no matter what, so in the end, Lin Ying could only give up. Moreover, even if it was a suit, Li Fan didn't like it very much. For a martial artist, this suit was really inconvenient for a fight. Even on normal days, Li Fan mostly wore sportswear. The material of your suit is relatively soft, and it's very tough. Lin Yuthan seemed to see through Li Fan's thoughts and reminded him, also, the clothes I bought for you are all made of the same material, it won't affect your exercise. All right, you're considerate. Li Fan was very grateful to Lin Yuki. After all, she was the one who helped him build up his image. You've changed a lot. Lin Yuan and Li Fan walked on the pedestrian street. She stuck to Li Fan's side and said, Me? How have I changed? When I first met you, you were like a small cannon, exploding at the slightest touch. Lin Yuan said, but more than a year has passed, and you've become a lot more mature. You've become a lot steadier, and your temper has also softened. Now that you mention it, it is a little. Li Fan laughed. Do you like me more now? Your shamelessness hasn't changed. I don't want that to change. You bastard. I'll give you a chance. Treat me to a meal. Lin Yin gently rubbed her flat belly. I'm hungry. All right, I'll treat you to something delicious. Li Fan glanced at the commercial street. Indeed, there were many good restaurants on both sides of the street. There was a beautiful fountain in front, and a man dressed in black stood in front of the fountain. He took out a lighter and slowly lit up a cigarette. Li Fan was talking to Lin Yunyin when he suddenly felt something. He picked up Lin Yunyin and dodged to the side. A formless wind blade brushed past their clothes and swept outwards. A deep gully appeared on the ground, as if it was cut by a 40-meter-long knife. The man in black closed the lighter and raised his head. He was a foreigner with blonde hair and blue eyes. This man spoke English. Fortunately, Li Fan could understand him. Good evening. For you. Li Fan frowned as he looked at the foreign man in front of him. They all call me Archangel. The foreign man announced his name. At the same time, the clothes on his back tore open and a pair of white wings spread out, causing the surrounding people to scream. Who is he? Lin Yuetan was also shocked. A person with wings? The 4 horsemen of the Golden Empire. Li Fan knew that the other party was a mutant. He did not hesitate to put Lin Yuetan down and let her stand to the side. Stand here and don't run around. After saying that, Li Fan threw out his good guy card. A golden light flashed in the sky, and Murong Ing, who was wearing a golden flying lion armor, descended from the sky and squatted in front of Lin Yueqing. Like a divine soldier descending from the sky, she slowly got up and picked up her golden lion shield. Lin Yuetan was a bit shocked. She knew that Li Fan knew Kung Fu, but what was the situation now? Was this Kung Fu? Her mind turned quickly, and she soon thought of something else. Superpower? This is the ability of the new director of the Special Abilities Bureau. The Archangel flapped his wings and shook off his white feathers. He looked at Li Fan with a smile and said, "Hand over the people from the Special Abilities Bureau, and I will spare your life. You're just a barbarian." What a big tone. Li Fan sneered. Now that you're in China, it seems I'll have to teach you Chinese rules. Is that so? The Archangel said and flapped his wings. A wind blade immediately flew out and slashed at a passerby next to him. Li Fan frowned. He flicked his feet and instantly appeared in front of that person, smashing the wind blade with a palm strike. However, there was a ghastly ravine on the ground, causing everyone to shriek. Li Fan roared, but more and more people came to watch. The Archangel flapped his wings and sent another wind blade at a passerby in another direction. Li Fan operated his qinggong to the extreme and quickly appeared on the other side. He then lifted his foot and smashed the Archangel's wind blade. However, the Archangel's other wind blade hit Li Fan's back, sending Li Fan flying and rolling on the ground. Li Fan got up again and glared at the Archangel. Had it not been for his true energy protecting his body, he would have been cut in half. Chinese martial artists are nothing more than this. The Archangel flapped his wings and flew up, landing on the fountain behind him. He then looked at Li Fan with a smile. It's still not too late to hand over the people from the Special Abilities Bureau. The people around took out their mobile phones and began to take videos. They had no idea how dangerous the situation was. In front of these people, Li Fan could not use his true strength. Not only was he afraid of being exposed, but he was also afraid of hurting innocent people with his strength. Since when did your Golden Empire become so interested in my China's Special Abilities Bureau? Mr. Yang is dead. The Archangel leisurely said, if you want to know the secret of Demon Island, you can only ask your China's prophet. He looked at the people around him who were watching the show, and his smile became wider. Look, there are so many people here to kill. I can slowly play with you. Li Fan frowned. This is really not fun anymore. At this time, Lin Ying turned her head and ordered Sun Qingshan, who had just rushed over. Shoot. Sun Qingshan nodded and directly pulled out a pistol from behind his waist and fired 3 shots into the sky. Bang, 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 After the 3 shots, everyone on the pedestrian street screamed and ran away. The archangel frowned and looked at Lin Yin with an unfriendly gaze. It seems that a little mouse likes to meddle in other people's business, the archangel said, and once again threw a wind blade at Sun Qingchen. Just as Li Fan was about to act, a beautiful woman carrying a shield suddenly stood in front of Sun Qingchen and directly used a silver lion shield to block the wind blade. Chapter 667. Wang Xiaoyuan, wearing a complete set of silver lion armor, stood there expressionlessly, blocking the wind blade with her shield. Li Fan was a little surprised. Wang Xiaoyuan seemed to have evolved. "Sorry I'm late." Bai Lin Luo stood on the roof next to him, and beside him stood a woman in tawny armor, holding a bow and arrow in her hand. Lin Yan looked a little sluggish, as if she couldn't believe her eyes. "Lu Xinan?" No. Her expression was wrong. However, Lin Yuthan quickly calmed down. It seemed that it really was a superpower. Being by Li Fan's side, one must quickly accept new things. Probably only Lin Yuexin had this ability. Damn it! The archangel was obviously a little angry, and the wings behind him were about to flap. However, at this moment, a figure flashed out and directly kicked the archangel in the face, immediately sending him flying. The archangel flapped his wings continuously, stabilizing his body and falling to the side. "Who's there?" A small figure stood there, slowly patting the dust off his trousers. "Oh, you're quite thick-skinned. My feet are numb from the shock." Li Fan was a little surprised and glanced at Le Xiaohu. Le Xiaohu turned around and asked his master for credit. "Master, I've been practicing hard recently." "Not bad." Li Fan couldn't help but praise Le Xiaohu. However, Le Xiaohu seemed to be a little carried away and didn't notice that a wind blade had already arrived behind him. Li Fan blocked in front of Le Xiaohu and directly smashed the wind blade with his palm. He reached out and touched Le Xiaohu's head. "Let's practice more." With Le Xiaohu's current strength, he was only at the beginner's level. However, he had trained his body and was obviously much stronger, surpassing the archangel who only used his superpower to fight. Only then did he succeed in kicking the opponent away. However, the archangel was one of the 4 knights of the Golden Empire after all. If he got serious, Le Xiaohu would almost be killed instantly. At this time, Li Fan stood in front of Le Xiaohu, giving Le Xiaohu a strong sense of security. He stood behind his master. Looking at his master's tall back, he felt at ease. Le Xiaohu's development was slow. Although he should be in his first year of high school, he was still only 1.62 meters tall. However, he would still grow, especially after he started practicing martial arts. At the very least, he would be able to grow a lot faster. Therefore, standing behind Li Fan, Le Xiaohu looked a lot shorter. But he felt that even if he grew taller than his master in the future, he would still have to look up to him. The feeling of looking up to a tall mountain. Master was really like a mountain, so majestic and lofty. "Archangel, you want to touch my disciple without asking me?" Li Fan crossed his arms and stood there, looking at the archangel. "Li Fan, do you think that without those useless hostages, you can defeat me?" The archangel flicked his cigarette away. With a sneer, he looked at Li Fan disdainfully. "I am one of the 4 knights of the Golden Empire, a powerful archangel. If I want to kill you, I only need to move a finger. Is that so? Bring it on." Li Fan was very calm. He crooked his finger at the archangel. The archangel immediately stared, and the wings on his back shot out a wind blade. There was no one around, so Li Fan could go all out. He directly turned around and kicked out a crescent kick. The air was torn apart, and the wind blade and the kick were torn together. What surprised the archangel was that the opponent's kick actually tore apart his wind blade and appeared in front of him in the blink of an eye. He didn't dare to hesitate. He immediately flapped his wings and flew up. Bang! The fountain was directly cut into 2, and water gushed out continuously. The archangel still had some lingering fear. He flew in the air, looking for an opportunity to attack Li Fan. The archangel's wings flapped a few times, and he constantly created wind blades, attacking Li Fan in the air. In the 9 Buddha Sutra that Li Fan learned, There was a move called Subduing the Dragon, which was specially used to deal with Qigong experts in the air. However, Li Fan didn't want to rely on the 9 Buddha Sutra. He constantly kicked out crescent kicks, shattering the Archangel's attacks. That's all there is to it. Lu Xiaohu relaxed a little. If it were you, how would you defeat him? Li Fan only taught Lu Xiaohu some basic mantras, and didn't teach him any martial arts. He wanted to know how Lu Xiaohu would deal with the enemy in front of him. This person relies on flying to maintain his invincibility. Lu Xiaohu hid behind Li Fan, and was very safe. He expressed his opinion, as long as he lands, he's finished. Do you have a way to make him land? Well, I can do it with my ability. Lu Xiaohu said confidently. Your ability? Isn't it eliminating underwear? With the improvement of my strength, my superpower has also evolved. Superpower can evolve? However, looking at Wang Xiaoyuan in the silver lion armor, Li Fan felt that Lu Xiaohu's words were possible. Yes, but give me a way to defeat the Archangel with only fighting skills. Lu Xiaohu was stunned for a moment, as if he didn't expect his master to ask this. However, he thought for a moment and said, There is. Tell me about it? Master's Dragon Toad's ingestion can pull him down. He flies very fast and is very cunning. He won't be easily hit by my Dragon Toad's ingestion. Then Master will use Qigong to catch up to him. Then defeat him. That's a good idea, but Qigong is not as flexible as flying. Lu Xiaohu was a little puzzled. What else could he do? Use your brain and it'll be fine. As Li Fan said this, he stretched out both hands and activated the Golden Toad's Spitting Pearls ability. Li Fan grabbed a ball of energy in each hand and threw it at the Archangel one after the other. The Archangel flapped his wings and easily dodged Li Fan's energy cannon. Haha, are you kidding me? The Archangel laughed. However, Li Fan winked at him. The Archangel suddenly realized something and turned to look. The 2 balls of energy had collided and exploded, setting off a frenzied airflow in the air. The Archangel could no longer control his flight. The airflow was chaotic, and his wings could no longer control his body. The Archangel spun in the air and finally smashed hard on the ground. Lu Xiaohu looked at this scene dumbfoundedly. Fuck, Master is too strong. It turned out that fighting was not only about using fists and feet, but also using one's brain. Li Fan took advantage of the fact that the Archangel had not stood up and directly appeared above his head. Wait a minute. Before the Archangel could finish his sentence, Li Fan had already kicked his head. Bang! The Archangel was directly hit by Li Fan and was kicked into the ground. Chapter 668. What kind of leg strength does Li Fan have? He is many times stronger than Lu Xiaohu. His kick left the Archangel dumbfounded. The Archangel only felt a buzz in his head, as though he was hit by a train. Because his mental power suffered a serious blow, his pair of wings retracted. Little 4 eyes. Li Fan signaled to Bai Lin Luo, who was far away. Bai Lin Luo nodded and waved his hand. Lu Xinnan of Sagittarius constellation immediately drew her bow. Swish, swish, swish. 4 arrows pierced through the air and directly pierced through the Archangel's 4 limbs, nailing him to the ground. Bai Lin Luo is very decisive in doing things, without the slightest bit of hesitation. Sometimes he is even more ruthless than Li Fan. Li Fan, it's been hard on you. Leave the rest to us. Bai Lin Luo was brought down by Sagittarius Lin Yun and landed beside Li Fan. Lin Yun still felt that it was a little strange. She stood by the side and watched the show. The sound of a police siren could be heard. Obviously, the police were alerted. I'll go back with you, Li Fan said. Old son, you take Lin Yun and leave first. Spus. Sun Qingchen nodded and tried to take Lin Yueten away. But Lin Yueten did not want to leave. She glanced at Li Fan. Li Fan said, Go back first. You can't handle the matters here. But come back safely. Lin Yun knew that she would only be a burden to Li Fan if she went. She followed Sun Qingchen and left. Sun Qingchen had a lot of experience and was very experienced. Li Fan can rest assured, handing Lin Yuhsn over to him. He and Bai Lin Luo looked at each other. Then, they took a hidden pickup truck and drove all the way to the riverside. Through a newly opened tunnel, they entered the hull of the Special Abilities Bureau's ship. "Boss Li, you're here too?" When Susu saw Li Fan walking over, she was very friendly. "Long time no see. Did you miss me? You seem to have lost some weight." Li Fan did not answer Susu, but changed the topic. "It's all right. It's just that I can't go out for a walk. It's a little boring." Susu sighed, seemingly a little sad. Recently, the search for mutants has become stricter. Bai Lin Luo explained. Moreover, many people are interested in the Special Abilities Bureau's prophet. The prophet's ability was omniscient and omniscient. There are countless people who covet him. "Can I see the prophet?" Li Fan was very interested in this prophet. "Sure." Bai Lin Luo readily agreed. "Susu, continue searching for information here. I'll take Li Fan down to have a look." "Yes, Chief." Although Susu wanted to accompany Li Fan, the chief's order could not be disobeyed. "Xiaohu, go and practice first. I'll look for you later." Li Fan also instructed Li Xiaohu. The latter nodded and happily went to practice. This tripod ship was divided into 3 floors. The prophet's skull was stored on the lowest floor. The top floor was the combat area, and the middle floor was the living area. The two took the elevator all the way to the lowest floor. Xiaohu has grown a lot recently. When they came down, Li Fan did not forget to chat with Bai Lin Luo about Xiaohu. Well, what happened last time was a big blow to him. Bai Lin Luo nodded. Not only is he practicing, but he has also been working hard in his studies recently. Fortunately, the Special Abilities Bureau has teachers and online courses. Otherwise, I'm worried that these children won't be able to keep up with their cultural classes. "I've made you worry." Li Fan patted him on the shoulder. "He's just a high school student like me, but he's in charge of such a big place. It's not easy for you to be in charge of an escort agency. I always feel a little guilty for not being by your side to help you." Bai Lin Luo looked ashamed, but Li Fan comforted him. "Don't worry, there's still Ling Tian. That girl Lin Yin has been doing a good job recently. Her IQ isn't for nothing." "That's good." Bai Lin Luo breathed a sigh of relief. "The agency is running well now. You don't have to worry too much about my side." Li Fan comforted him. "Just take care of the Special Abilities Bureau." The Special Abilities Bureau was fine a while ago. Bai Lin Luo said. But recently, whether it's Hunter, the Golden Empire, or the Cleaners, they are all after us. They want to get the Prophet and find Demon Island. Some of Hunter's people actually want to rely on me to find Demon Island. Li Fan pointed to his head. "Before Mr. Yang died, he told me about Demon Island. Then, you should find someone to protect you." Bai Lin Luo pondered for a moment. "Who should I send? The Special Abilities Bureau doesn't have any experts now. How about I give you another good guy card?" "No, Murong Ying's S card is enough." Li Fan said. "You have to take care of the entire Special Abilities Bureau, so keep a few more cards in your hand. By the way, why does Wang Xiaoyuan look different?" "She evolved." Bai Lin Luo knew everything. "With my breakthrough, she also evolved from a B card to an A card." "Yo, you're amazing, bro." "Huh, not bad. Superpowers can be upgraded. Didn't we say it in the first lesson? Can the S card continue to evolve?" Li Fan could not help but ask. I don't think so," Bai Lin Luo shook his head. "Moreover, the ability of my upgrade card is also based on the frequent use of the good guy card and the improvement of the proficiency of the good guy card. Excluding combat, if I want to evolve a B card, I have to make her appear every day for at least a month. If it's an S card, it will take at least a year for it to evolve. But after Wang Xiaoyuan evolved, she seems to have silver armor. Normally, Leo should have golden armor, right?" "Well, normally, Leo should have golden armor. However, after the evolution, it seems to be slightly different. It's all silver." "I see. I really don't know the principle behind it." Li Fan shrugged. "Superpowers are really unreasonable. My ability is probably a little special. Most abilities have some scientific reasoning. As Bai Linluo spoke, he had already brought Li Fan to the lowest level and came to a door with a few heavy locks. Li Fan could see that the prophet was well protected. Bai Linluo used his palm to unlock the lock and the door opened. Inside was a secret room. There was a large water trough inside and there seemed to be some special liquid in it. And in the liquid, there was a skull. It was very strange. This is the prophet. Although he is dead, his spirit is not extinguished. Bai Linluo introduced. Say hello to him. Li Fan looked at the skull and felt a little strange. It was as if it was also looking at him. Chapter 669. Li Fan didn't know why, but he felt that the skull seemed to be alive. It was as if a living person was floating in the nutrient solution, looking at him. Almost subconsciously, Li Fan reached out his hand and gently touched the glass of the nutrition tank. Like an electric current striking him, Li Fan's body shook slightly, and a series of images appeared in his mind. Demon Island. A gloomy and ghostly island floated alone on the sea. There seemed to be something terrible on that island, causing Li Fan to stay away from it. The image flashed again, and it seemed that a hand was reaching out to grab him. Li Fan suddenly woke up, sweating profusely as he looked at the skull in front of him. But almost in an instant, his consciousness was pulled back. Images continued to flash in Li Fan's mind. Li Fan saw that there were 9 pages of the 9 Buddha Sutra placed in front of him. A handsome man was standing in front of him, slowly concealing the 9 Buddha Sutra. Lu Jinchan. Li Fan was shocked. He actually saw Lu Jinchan, and he even saw the entire 9 Buddha Sutra. Li Fan wanted to take a step forward to take a closer look. But that Lu Jinchan seemed to be smiling at him and then reached out with his palm, immediately pushing him away. Li Fan returned to reality once again and stared blankly at the skull. At that moment, he seemed to realize how terrifying the value of this skull was. He put his palm on his waist, his palm containing power as if he wanted to smash the nutrient tank. At that moment, a hand was placed on his shoulder. Li Fan turned around and saw Bai Linluo looking at him. Li Fan, what's wrong? It's nothing. Cold sweat dripped down from Li Fan's head. He finally realized how terrifying the temptation of this skull was. An omniscient skull that could even see the past and the future, its power was too terrifying. For the Special Abilities Bureau, the power of the prophet is indispensable. Bai Linluo explained, just now, I received a hint from the prophet, that's why I was able to appear beside you in time. This is too magical. As for superpowers, Li Fan felt that they were quite powerful. Unlike his own true energy, this kind of power was even more unfathomable. We didn't make good use of the prophet's power in the past, so our Special Abilities Bureau has fallen to this point. Bai Linluo looked at the prophet's skull and said, but from now on, this will never happen again. A glint flashed across Bai Linluo's eyes. Don't bear the pressure alone. I will help you protect the Special Abilities Bureau. Li Fan patted him on the shoulder. Yes, I'll need your help financially. Bai Linluo was a little ashamed. The Special Abilities Bureau is huge, and there are a lot of places that need money. The daily maintenance of the tripod ship, the daily necessities of the crew, daily expenses. Don't worry. Leave these to me. Li Fan patted Bai Linluo's shoulder. We are brothers, so there's no need to be so polite. Li Fan felt that it was better to keep a distance from this prophet. It would be safer for him. I'll go up and see Xiaohu first. Okay, guide him more in martial arts. He has reached a bottleneck here and needs your help. Bai Linluo said, I still have some questions to ask the prophet, so I won't accompany you. All right. Li Fan turned and went upstairs. As he closed the door, Bai Linluo gently pressed his hand against the glass. Sure enough, Lu Xiaohu was obediently practicing martial arts. Ever since the last incident, he had become very hardworking. At this time, Lu Xiaohu was reading a high school English textbook while squatting in a horse stance. Seeing Li Fan coming in, Lu Xiaohu couldn't help but feel a bit excited. Master, take this. Lu Xiaohu threw the English book at Li Fan. Li Fan reached out and caught the English book. But Li Xiaohu had already run in front of him. He was relatively young, so his physical toughness was relatively good. His foundation was better than Li Fan's. This Li Xiaohu's body bent down and his hands spread out in front of him. He actually had the posture of a little tiger. His hands tore at Li Fan, but were slapped away by Li Fan's crane hand. But Li Xiaohu's attack speed was getting faster and faster. His claws seemed to tear through the air. With the sound of breaking through the air, he continuously grabbed at Li Fan. Li Fan displayed the crane hand and slapped away Li Xiaohu's attacks one after another. Although Li Xiaohu's attack rhythm was fast, it was too monotonous and could not escape Li Fan's judgment. Li Fan's movements were very slow and the rhythm was very relaxed. Every time he casually used the crane hand, he would be able to slap away Li Xiaohu's fatal blow. As for the other attacks, Li Fan could only rely on his footwork to avoid them. Li Xiaohu seemed to be a little anxious. His tiger claws could not hit his master even once. Your attack is still lacking a bit of maturity. Li Fan attacked while giving advice to his disciple. Don't make too many useless attacks and don't make too many small movements. Adjust your breathing. Your tiger fist posture is good, but you can't just imitate the movements. You have to master the breathing of a tiger. Choose the vital points and attack the vital points. Don't attack the useless parts. Li Fan constantly corrected some of Li Xiaohu's mistakes, and Li Xiaohu's attacks became more and more skillful. Even Li Fan was surprised by the speed at which he became proficient. Although he knew that Li Xiaohu was talented and had a clear bone structure, he did not expect him to be this powerful. Although Li Fan had a pure yang body and the unique 5 flowers blossoming, he was strong in internal force. In the cultivation of external force, Li Fan was not good at it. Most of the time, he relied on hard training. However, Li Xiaohu was different. He was very fast in the honing of external force. With just a few pointers from Li Fan, he had almost comprehended it. Under Li Fan's guidance, Li Xiaohu made rapid progress. Soon, his attacks became more and more methodical. There were a few times when he almost broke through Li Fan's defense and attacked his vital points. Of course, the premise was that Li Fan did not use his internal force and only used his body to fight with Li Xiaohu. Li Xiaohu suddenly lifted his leg and directly hit Li Fan's lower abdomen, causing Li Fan to take a step back. Amazing, Li Fan was a little surprised. Wasn't this his tiger tail whip? He spent a long time to comprehend it, but he did not expect Li Xiaohu to comprehend it so quickly. It seemed that Li Xiaohu's attainment in Tiger Fist was far higher than his. Li Xiaohu suddenly clawed at Li Fan's throat, but Li Fan bent down and directly hit Li Xiaohu with beating the tiger, sending Li Xiaohu flying. Master, don't use the 7 Brilliance Fist. Li Xiaohu rubbed his bruised face and said with grievance, "You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.